Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Newman Outdoor Field.
For tonight's Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series between the St. Paul Saints and your Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. Oh yes, playoff fever has definitely hit Newman Outdoor Field.
For expert calls, make the right call. Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Check out the Bell Bank Playground located down the first baseline. All kids are welcome to play with adult supervision. Bell Bank, part of the community for over 40 years.
The beer that's as refreshing as refreshment gets. Meinenkugel's Summer Shandy.
CBI Business Services is the official payroll company of the FM RedHawks. CBI specializes in human resources, payroll, accounting, and flex accounts. Contact the CBI offices in Fargo at 701-237-6128 to see how they can help your business. Fargo-Moorhead's brand new training facility dedicated to baseball and softball. It's the Ball Yard, welcoming all ages from the basic beginner to the advanced professional. Come and visit the one place in the FM area where it's always summer. The Ball Yard, online at fmballyard.com.
Hi there, this is Jack Michaels, voice of the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks, reminding you can catch RedHawks baseball all season long on AM 740 The Fan, on 107.3 FM, and on the RedHawks mobile app.
You need RedHawks gear. Stop into the RedHawks team store to get ready for the game. Located on the concourse by the main entrance, the RedHawks team store is the place for all your authentic RedHawks gear with the most variety of items anywhere.
Politics to sports, nothing is off limits with Dan Guerrero and Justin Gard. It's Bumper to Bumper, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6:30 on 740 The Fan and 107.3 FM. Hey fans, don't forget, make sure you head on over to the RedHawks team store tonight for a special playoff series discount. Everything is 20% off in the store. Just our way of saying thanks for all of your support of RedHawks baseball this season. You know, Medina's in uniform. Do we want to introduce him tonight? I think we should. He's in uniform. Medina, he's in uniform. Okay. All right. Okay. Fans, mix it up at the Leinie Lounge by mixing your favorite Leinie Kugel beers. A fan favorite called the Honey Bear combines Leinie Kugel's Honey Weiss and Berry Weiss for a classic, easy-to-drink mixer. Ask your server about all the Leinie Kugel combinations. Mix it up with Leinie Kugels. And now here are tonight's Leinie Kugel's playoff rosters and the starting lineups tonight. First of all, for the visiting St. Paul Saints. First of all, the Saints are led by their longtime manager, George Samus. And now introducing the St. Paul Saints reserve, starting with pitcher number 28, Landon Beck. Number 25, Mike Devine. Number 17, Ken Frosch. Number 30, Jordan Jess. Number 38, Tanner Keast. Number 29, Karch Kowalczyk. Number 11, Eddie Medina. Number 16, Ryan Schlosser. Number 35, Todd Van Steensel. And number 18, Ryan Zimmerman. Catcher, number 26, Mike Aiello. Outfielder, number 13,
Troy Alexander. And outfielder number 15, Jabari Henry. Now introducing the Saints coaching staff, led by hitting coach number 23, Ole Sheldon. Pitching coach number 46, Kerry Leitenberg. First base coach number 27, Dan Grice. Bullpen catcher Cody Young. Clubhouse manager J.P. LaBelle. And certified athletic trainer Jason Ellenbecker. And now here is tonight's starting lineup for the visiting St. Paul Saints. Leading off and playing center field, number 9, Dan Model. Right fielder, number 3, Michael Lang. Designated hitter, number 21, Brady Shoemaker. First baseman, number 6, John Silviano. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 8, Jeremy Martinez. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 7, Josh Allen. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 4, Chesney Young. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 19, Chris Baker. And batting ninth, the left fielder, number 2, Blake Schmidt. And starting on the mound tonight for the Saints, left-hander, number 54, Chris Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, your St. Paul Saints.
Okay, change music. Here we go.
And now the playoff roster for your Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. Your Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks are led by manager Jim Bennett. And now introducing the RedHawks reserves, starting with pitcher number 15, Jeff Broussard. Number 17, Brett Helton. Pitcher, number 21, Michael Tamburino. Number 23, Michael Hope. Number 24, Taylor Bloy. Number 26, Tyler Pike. Number 36, Carter Hope. Number 41, Sebastian Kesse. Number 45, Joe Filomeno. Number 46, Brent Jones. And number 48, J.R. Bunda. Catcher, number 49, Brian Olsen. And outfielder, number 3, Alex Boxwell. Introducing the RedHawks coaching staff. Bench coach, number 10, Chris Coast. Hitting coach, number 20, Anthony Renz. Bullpen coach, number 28, Robbie Lopez. The clubhouse manager, Brendan Kozer. And the athletic trainer, Brad Reed. And now, tonight's starting lineup for your Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. Leading off and playing left field, number 16, Brennan Metzger. Right fielder, number 9, Tim Caldwell. Center fielder, number 12, Devin Ahart. Designated hitter, number 44, Chris Jacobs. First baseman, number 55, Corral Prime. Shortstop, number 4, Leo Pena. Catcher, number 51, Wilfredo Jimenez. Batting 8th, the second baseman, number 2, Carlos Garcia. And batting 9th, the third baseman, number 5, Joe Becht. And starting on the mound tonight for the RedHawks, right-hander, number 37, Ryan Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, your Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of tonight's national anthem. And now, please join Nick Caspers as he leads us in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey, outstanding job. Nick Caspers with our national anthem. Great job, Nick. Thank you very much. Looking for a fun outing for your kids' Little League, Babe Ruth, T-ball, or softball team? The Culver's RedHawks Youth Team Promotion is a great way for their teams to be recognized. Boys and girls aged 6 to 14 have the chance to experience the game of baseball in a professional setting. The youth team package includes the chance for team members to be introduced onto the field, meet the RedHawks player that plays their position, and much more. Stop by the Minn Kota Windows Guest Relations booth or the box office for more information.
Introducing tonight's umpires, brought to you by Onstead Twitchell, your life, your law firm, with offices in West Fargo, Hillsborough, and Castleton. Umpires tonight, as assigned by the American Association. Behind home plate this evening, Heath Jones. First base umpire, Jacob Kiefauber. At second base, Jordan Sandberg. At third base, Mayhew Edwards. Nope, not that one. He's good. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. they stood for 5 minutes. And we can't have that.
I saw him coming in. Yeah.
There he goes.
Do you think Heath even wears a chest protector, or is it just his belly?
Inside protector. I'm calling Curly. Should we bring his helmet down to him?
Oh, that might be what he was motioning at.
It's down there, I guess, but he's not wearing it. Well, not the big media helmet. Not the big red one.
Well, we're officially late now.
First pitch, 7:02 plus 9. Good luck. Godspeed.
On Judgment Day, I won't fade away. I'll be pushing on till the rivers run dry. I've got to try.
Can you believe it? They've done it again. The RedHawks have come back to win another one. 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the RedHawks walk it off.
I'll be pushing on till the rivers run dry. I've got to try. I'll keep pushing on.
What a magical night. Holy cow, this team is special.
I'll be pushing on. I'll be pushing on. I'll be pushing
A walk-off 3-run home run, can you believe it? What a ball club. RedHawks win. RedHawks win. They've done it again.
fade away. I'll be pushing on.
Baseball, there's that nip in the air. And for those that are tuning in Florida, and I know we have listeners and viewers all over due to players, families, and ties and fans, there's something about being in the Midwest or upper Midwest when postseason baseball happens where you almost expect, need, and want a little bit of that fall near, don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, it's great for the pitchers especially. It's very comfortable. A lot of times you can go deeper into the games, and you know, the competitors that we have, you can reach back, dig deep, and sometimes bring a little bit more out of yourself than you can do in a regular season.
Umpires tonight, the four-man crew, by the way, four-man crew for the postseason. Heath Jones, Big Heath Jones, calling balls and strikes. At first base, Jacob Kefauver, Jordan Sandberg at second, and Mayhew Edwards at third. Here's your lineup tonight for the St. Paul Saints. Leading off, Dan Model. Model in center field leading off, and it's going to be a lineup littered with All-Stars. Michael Lang, the former Explorer, batting second in right field. All-Star Brady Shoemaker, a postseason All-Star, also DH hitting third. John Silviano, dangerous left-handed hitter at first base, batting fifth. The All-Star Jeremy Martinez, who clubbed 2 3-run home runs recently against the RedHawks, catching and batting fifth. Josh Allen at second, hitting sixth. Chesney Young at third, batting seventh. Chris Baker at short, hitting eighth. And Blake Schmidt in that 9-hole, batting ninth. So for George Samus, when the RedHawks recently saw St. Paul, they were waiting for Model to get healthy. He had taken a ball, I believe, off the foot in a recent series against Chicago. He was out of the lineup. Blake Schmidt was in center, and Jabari Henry was in left. Now Model back healthy in the lineup, leading off where he normally is, and that puts Schmidt at that 9-hole for St. Paul. So Model, Lang, and Shoemaker, Silviano, Martinez, and Allen, Young, Baker, and Schmidt with the right-hander Ryan Williams into the line, and the first pitch of the playoffs is right down the middle. Strike one called, and we're underway at 7:07.
I think the original plan, Jack, with Model and Lang at the top of the order was to create a running game at top, but they've swung the bat with so much power lately. I think that's not on their minds right now.
Breaking pitch goes low and away. 1-1 strike to Model. Yeah, you look at the 1-2, Jeff, in St. Paul's lineup, and RedHawks fans are going, hey, we may have the best 1-2 combination in the league in Metzger and Colwell, but Model and Lang can wreak a lot of havoc at the top of the order. The 1-2 pitch floats a little bit outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike on Dan Model.
Ryan's got to live on that outside corner. He commands it as well as anybody in this league.
If he doesn't get it, and we can discuss this as we move along tonight, as the right-hander's 2-1 pitch is hit in the air to right field. Sun is out. Tim Colwell's out there too, and Tim makes the catch. And there is out number 1. Jeff, if he doesn't get it consistently tonight, what is that force? What kind of action from Ryan Williams?
Well, he can adjust. He's got a pretty good 2-plane breaking ball, and he's got a good changeup that almost acts like a split. But he'll need command of that split if he's not commanding the outside corner with his fastball.
Here's Michael Lang. You know, Michael is pretty much familiar with Fargo-Moorhead in this area. We've talked about Michael's stories. He takes a ball away. Michael, you know, married a local girl from around the region. They now have a newborn baby that's not so newborn anymore. I saw Lila met his firstborn. He sends a ball inside the bag down at third. Lang can move. Let's see what Metzger does. He gets to it. Lang trying for 2. Here's a throw, and Lang is in there with a head-first slide, a 1-out double here in the top of the first. Lang, for many years, donning that Sioux City Explorers uniform, and many got familiar. He's familiar with this region because in the offseason, Michael has been working at the ball yard here, helping produce, you know, some good young athletes around the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo area, Jeff. And I've always liked Michael Lang's game. This is a compliment. He's been a pest.
Well, Jack, he's the right-handed version of Tim Colwell. They've both been in the league 5 or 6 years. Very similar style. Their game is based on their legs. They handle the bat very well, and they're a threat in the batter's box and then once they get on the bases as well.
Defensively for the RedHawks in left field, Brennan Metzger, Devin Ahart in center with Tim Colwell in right. Joe Becht at third, Leo Pena at short, Carlos Garcia at second, Correll Prime at first, and Wilfredo Jimenez catching. And the first pitch to Shoemaker. The RedHawks, can they make a play? Jimenez thinks he's got a shot. He does, and makes the catch. That's a big out, by the way, for Ryan Williams to get that man with a runner in scoring position out, Brady Shoemaker.
Shoemaker always among the most difficult outs in this league. He gives you a combination of advanced strike zone control and power to all fields.
Jeff, I said before our last break, if you had to pick one Saint and one RedHawk that could wreak some havoc, that again for the RedHawks who you want to keep down, is it Shoemaker?
Well, I'm always concerned about Shoemaker, but in this current.
As Silviano steps in, sends a base hit to center. Lang grounding third. Ahart comes up throwing. Lang will score on the RBI hit from John Silviano, and St. Paul has drawn first blood with the RBI single from Silviano. Were you about to say John Silviano a little bit?
No, I wasn't. I was actually about to say this hitter stepping up to the plate, Martinez, who's really swung the bat well against us all year.
John Silviano, who just delivered that RBI hit. I was chatting with Anthony Renz earlier today about a similar question. We were picking guys out. And he said Silviano, a lot like the RedHawks' Chris Jacobs, and Silviano's appeared in just 57 games. When you match games played to production, it is a very productive season in a Saints uniform for Silviano, and he delivers here as Martinez takes a breaking pitch away.
Silviano has turned into a classic four-hole hitter in this league. Probably he doesn't have the at-bats like you say, but probably as high a home run percentage per at-bat as anybody in the league.
So the RBI hit for Silviano drives in Michael Lang, the second hit of the inning, and now Martinez. And he is dangerous as Martinez takes low and in, ball two. Martinez, Jeff, one only needs to go back to a couple of games ago where Martinez clubbed 2 home runs. That was when Ryan Williams got the start. Williams gave up one of them, and then Joe Filomeno did the other in relief. Williams that day, that was on August 29th, was 2 for 4 with 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. The pitch, that's outside and low, ball 3. And tonight, the wind might aid something, but this park should play true for the most part. But it could aid some balls maybe out towards left field.
It could, but it's certainly a lot more pitcher-friendly than CHS on most nights.
There's no question about that. Saints leading 1-0, 2 outs here. Top first, the pitch is low and a 4-pitch walk to Jeremy Martinez.
Well, he pitched Martinez very carefully here. I think it's clear he's more comfortable going after Allen in this situation than Martinez.
Well, Jeff's first comments were about Moneland Lang, and it's not unlike the RedHawks, Metzger, and Colwell. You know, if you get one of those two guys on, and technically only at the start of the game is when they bat right out of the gate 1-2. And we saw Lang with the 1-out double, and there's a swing and a miss by Josh Allen. But you get one of those 2 on, and then you leave it to your big boppers, and that is what's happened here as Silviano's RBI single up the middle scored Lang after that double to left. The rest will take care of itself, and adjustments made. 2 on for St. Paul, 2 outs, and Williams floats a pitch away. 1 ball and 1 strike. The impressive thing, Jeff, to me with Ryan Williams this year is his ability not to get out of his skin and panic and try to be and do something he's not. That's where the poise comes in. His ability to get out of jams as a swing and a miss and pitch around potential big innings is another key.
Well, his AAA experience really comes through. He doesn't get flustered at all. He knows it's all about, for him, execution. And after he lets the ball go, he's just thinking about the next pitch and continually to execute well.
1-2 the count on Allen. Here's the pitch. Oh, my. Spins it in there. Strike 3 called. And Williams' first strikeout of the night. And the Saints are down here in the first. But St. Paul gets a run on 2 hits. They leave 2. Happening in the books today. American Association North Division Playoff Game number 1. It's St. Paul 1. The RedHawks are coming to bat. This is FM RedHawks baseball.
There are many like him. Always does his own stunts. Hawkeye is the world's most interesting bird.
Oh, and here he is, the bird you all know and love, the American Association's and the Valley's favorite mascot. It's Hawkeye, brought to you by Sanford Children's. RedHawks fans, Jimmy Johns is freaky fast, and so are the RedHawks. Every time the RedHawks steal a base tonight, your entire section could win a free sub with purchase of any size drink. from area participating Jimmy John stores. Just listen for the selected section to be called after each RedHawks freaky fast stolen base. RedHawks double plays are sponsored by Hornbachers and Smithfield Foods. For every double play the RedHawks earn, a lucky roll will receive a coupon for a free package of Eck-Rich sausage redeemable at your local Hornbachers store. Hornbachers has 8 locations in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Visit their newest store on Cheyenne Street in West Fargo.
Cleanup, Corral Prime at first base. Batting fifth, Leo Pena at short, hitting sixth. Wilfredo Jimenez catching and hitting seventh. Carlos Garcia at second, batting eighth, and Joe Beck in that 9-hole at third base. Need those righties, Jeff, to soften up the left-hander Chris Lee.
Yeah, let's hope the look we got against him in CHS Field helps us a little bit more tonight. This guy brings a respectable fastball, 92 miles an hour, and a good breaking ball.
Yeah, his first pitch, a fastball at 91, but as you say, the guy probably around 92, 93. So
Exactly. So a live fastball.
Corners are in with Metzger at the plate. Young at third, Silviano at first. Metzger lays off a heater inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Jeff, you've pitched in big games. You've pitched on games of the week in Major League Baseball. Are there nerves as a pitcher in the postseason, or is this calm and cool, just another game kind of thing?
I think there are some nerves. But you got 2 starters tonight that have both pitched at the AAA level. So I don't think you're going to see that out of these 2 starters. I think it's going to come down more to execution.
Metzger swings through the 2-0 offering, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Oh, this is Chris Lee. He's devastating. We've seen what he can do, and as Jeff mentioned, he recently pitched against the RedHawks. There's ball 3, 3-1 the count. Quality ABs, Jeff, going to play a factor here. Do you be aggressive on him? Do you sit back? Is it?
No, I'm disciplined here, Jack. I mean, there's a little book on him that he can lose his own at times. He didn't show that against us, but that's the book.
3-1 pitch is down the middle, and the count runs full.
Borderline knee-high strike, full count here. As Brennan is so apt to do, take the count full. Great job already as the leadoff man for us.
Who's the major league equivalent in the history of baseball of Brennan Metzger as far as 3-2 counts? And there's a ball all the way to the backstop, and Brennan will jog down to first. Jeff, you've been around the game. I've never, and maybe there's been over the years in RedHawks baseball, I don't know if I've ever broadcast a guy that's been in more 3-2 counts in his career than Brennan Metzger.
He's unbelievable. I mean, I've pitched against Ricky Henderson, and to say he was hard to get out is an unbelievable understatement. Because first of all, he projected a window of a strike zone that was tiny, about 6 inches from top to bottom. Second of all, if you got a borderline strike, he'd let the ump know about it.
Yeah, sure.
And then third of all, if you laid it in, he hit it 9 miles to left field. So I see some similarities in Metzger's game to a Ricky Henderson type style.
Here's Tim Colwell. Lefty versus lefty. RedHawks had the tying run on base here in the bottom of the first inning as Colwell takes up an in. And maybe that is the mantra here. Until Chris Lee can consistently find the strike zone, don't help him out.
Have to be patient, Jack. And I mean, sometimes it's tough. Timmy's an aggressive hitter. That's his style. It's not really his way to go, to be super patient.
1-0 pitch, and Colwell sends a little ground ball towards second. The only play will be to go to first. And a ground out, which would act like almost a sacrifice bunt. Tying run moves to scoring position. These 2 teams do mirror each other in a few ways. You know, both. You know, we've already discussed the 1-2 combos on each thing. I think you can take Model and Metzger, Colwell and Lang, and might even wash themselves out. And then it comes down to Shoemaker, Silviano, Martinez, so to speak, Ahart, Jacobs, and Prime.
Very comparable. Very comparable. And very comparable all the way through. And, you know, no one's going to shed any tears for us that we lost 3 key guys, because St. Paul lost a potential player of the year in Max Murphy a while ago, and they lost 2 or 3 starters of their rotation earlier on.
So here's another lefty on lefty matchup, Devin Ahart, who hits lefties well and can drive it a run. Ahart with 64 runs batted in and takes a pitch inside for a ball. Devin Ahart, the kid from Detroit, hitting .308 on the season, 123 hits, put up almost equal, if not better numbers here in 2019 than he did last year. Breaking pitches low.
Well, Jack, I personally challenged Devin to become better against left-handers this year. and he couldn't have come through better. I mean, I think he hit 375 against left-handed pitching this year. Just fitting great in our 3-hole.
Can he find some grass in the outfield? And here's a high chopper, and this ball is into left field, a base hit. Metzger rounding third. There's going to be a play at the plate. Safe at home. Now the ball gets away from the catcher Martinez, and Ahart down to second. We're tied at 1 here at Newman.
A beautiful answer for us in this inning. Very important for us to keep our confidence level up. Devin took a high fastball away, chopped it into the ground, old-style Baltimore chop. And, Jack, I don't think he was going to be able to throw out Ahart on that ball. I think that's a base hit. Base hit and error, probably.
Indeed, base hit for Devin Ahart, and they'll rule the error on the lefty fielder Blake Schmidt to allow Ahart to get to second. So an RBI for Devin Ahart. The Baltimore chop indeed. Boy, could you imagine that ball on turf? That thing would have shot about 30 feet in the air.
I usually don't see balls bounce that high at Newman, to tell you the truth. That was a little strange.
That brings up Chris Jacobs, and Jacobs takes low for a ball. I did a show with Rob Penny, who I just respect as much as anybody. You, I know, have listened to Rob's podcast, and he asked me who I thought would be a key to this series. And I said, you know what? When Jacobs is blasting balls all over the place and being a formidable guy like he's been, he becomes, and I mentioned Chris Jacobs. That's the guy, and he takes a strike here. Jeff, you've seen what he's been able to do. When he's going, it is lights out.
Jacobs has a presence that makes the lineup above him and below him better, and also probably the highest exit velocity in the league. So he's very tough to defend. He hits the ball from line to line, and it's got a lot on it when he squares it up.
Lefty Lee, 1-ball-1-strike pitch, and that's a good little backdoor piece right there. He can drive runs in. He can hit himself into scoring position. You know, he's a home run threat, as you mentioned, too. You know, might protect Ahart from time to time with his spot in the lineup.
No question. He's got to be the RBI guy he's been for the last 2 years for us.
Left fielder Blake Schmidt straight away. Model in center, a shade to left field, and now a ball that gets away from Jeremy Martinez, and Ahart rounding third. Devin puts the brakes on the throw back and just got back in time. Oh my, Mayhew Edwards, the third base umpire, had a decision. That's a 50-50 ball. Devin Ahart, well, he's like a guy riding a chariot.
Ooh.
He couldn't pull the reins on the horses fast enough.
That was scary, Jack. A little out of control around third. Got on that edge of grass. I was a little afraid he was going to slip on his way back. Very aggressive, but a little bit scary for me, to tell you the truth.
And Jeremy Martinez, we saw this in St. Paul. In one of those games, Jeff, he picked off Joe Becht at second base. Martinez is a dangerous catcher. He's got a great arm. But the RedHawks have the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Infield in for St. Paul. 2-2 the count on Jacobs. The lefty Lee's pitch is a chopper, and this ball is into left field. A base hit for Jacobs. Ahart scores, and the RedHawks have taken a 2-1 lead.
Playing a little ball more chop against him, Jack.
Maybe the ground is harder in September.
Hints of winter.
There's the 77th run batted in of the season. And you know what? For Chris Jacobs, good for him. Jeff, you were at the game at CHS Field. RedHawks at first and third, trying to salvage the game in that series. Jacobs, the batter, and he took a sink down, and instead of getting loft on it, he grounded into a game-ending double play. And I know Chris, with another opportunity, was hoping against hope to try to drive a run in tonight.
Well, he failed in that spot, but I'll take Chris Jacobs every day of the week in that spot. I mean, he was facing a very tough sinker. Kowalczyk, their late game guy, who will be a big part of this series. We're going to have to solve him and understand we got to stay off that sinker down.
Here's Corral Prime. The RedHawks have utilized a couple of Baltimore chops. They've utilized a throwing error and a pass ball, I believe, or is that a wild pitch? Wild pitch? Wild pitch, and a swing and a miss by Prime. So they've used a little bit of everything. It looked like that was a catchable ball, but I think that might go down as a pass ball. But regardless of which, the RedHawks have taken a 2-1 lead. So can Prime keep the engine going here in the bottom of the first inning? The pitch, Prime right on it, fouls it straight back.
Great rip right there, Jack, right on time. Corral just missed it.
0-2 the count. RedHawks in their black tops. I could have almost guaranteed you they were going to wear the black tops. Baseball players aren't superstitious, are they, Jeb?
Oh, man. They love the black tops. I don't know if anybody's
top.
kept the record, but obviously we must have a better record in black than any other jersey top. We've got quite a few choices.
Hey, the wind is picked up, by the way, friends. Blowing out to left, and there's a tight breaking pitch inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch to right-handers there, and that's obviously the money ball, that back foot slide piece. And recognizing that, key for guys like Correll Prime. Find something in the zone. Maybe he can find an alley. The look to first in the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Boy, the sink on that one. And that's strikeout number 1 for Chris Lee. The second out of the first inning. It brings up Leo Pena.
Well, he made a heck of a pitch there. It dropped right off the table, right at the end.
There's Leopoldo Pena. Leo Pena. Not enough words to describe what he has meant to the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks organization. The last couple of seasons, as Lee's delivery is in a little bit low for a ball.
Outstanding two-way player, Jack. I mean, Medina was player of the year defensively. I'm not sure how far Leo was behind him.
Chris Jacobs, the runner at first. Hawks lead 2-1, 2 outs, bottom of 1. And Pena sends a chopper. This one's going to find the mid of Chris Baker, the shortstop. He'll touch the bag at second for out number 3. And the RedHawks are out here in the bottom of the first inning. But the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks not only come back and answer that run from St. Paul, they had another one. 2 runs on a couple of hits. There was 1 error.
Hey, congratulations to Bill and Annie. Bill and Annie are tonight's Budweiser Thursday inning winners. Their seats have been upgraded from general admission. They're going to watch the game tonight right behind home plate in those Budweiser Thursday inning seats. So congratulations to Bill and Annie. Have some fun down there. Congratulations from DS Beverages and Budweiser. Fans, don't forget, great specials going on inside the team store tonight. It's a playoff series discount, 20% off inside the store. Thank you, as always, for your support of RedHawks baseball this season.
Friendly Smiles is the most unique experience for our patients because we stay on top of technology. When you walk through our doors, you're greeted with a smile. Our experience is to make sure that they're getting the best quality dentistry that they can.
Top of the second inning for St. Paul, the third baseman.
7-8-9, Chesney Young, Chris Baker, and Blake Schmidt. See, when the PA goes over, they think that's on me, by the way, Jeff. So, be like old school. Let's do it out. Here's the line. The pitch is in there for a strike to Chesney Young. You're really high on Chesney Young, certainly defensively. You like this third baseman for St. Paul.
Chesney Young is just another of a handful of really good third basemen in this league this year. Independently, a lot of times, that's a very tough position to profile. But with some of the third basemen I saw in this league this year, it's been an amazing crop, and Young is certainly in that group.
Young takes an off-speed pitch strike. I know fans here at Newman, those you got your ears on, good to see it tonight. Got the cue. Yeah, look at the thumbs up down there. Jason, he could be calling balls and strikes behind home plate. 0-2 pitch. Well, he doesn't need to on that one. A swing and a miss. And Ryan Williams has his second strikeout tonight. Jeff, we've talked about the AAA, the years of service, the level in which the starter Ryan Williams has pitched. But I'll guarantee you there's probably some people here at Newman going, hey, it doesn't even look like he's throwing that hard out there. But you don't realize the effectiveness of a true professional pitcher until you look at Ryan Williams.
You don't understand the location, the late movement, the pitch selection. Right now, he's kind of feeling his breaking ball a little bit. He's got the last 2 strikeouts on sweeping breaking balls against this right-handed dominated Saints team.
Here's Chris Baker, right-handed batting shortstop, and a swing and a foul there. He comes off speed. In that game the other night where St. Paul clubbed not 1 or 2 or 4 or 6, 7 home runs, Baker was part of that too. And this team at CHS Field, certainly, when they get some loft and backspin and another swing and a miss, and Ryan Williams right now might as well have a string attached to that ball because he's been pulling it frequently.
Outstanding feel of the breaking ball right now, really utilizing it well. Jack, I'm looking for damp conditions, no winds blowing hard out, and that touch of fall, like you alluded to, doesn't lend itself to balls flying real far.
0-2 pitch comes with it, and this ball flies hard to left field. Metzger back wall. Brennan's got it. As you just stated, Jeff, there's out number 2.
I'll tell you what, a series ago, I think that ball goes over the fence. Just the conditions that just dampen things, knock things down just a hair.
Now, Bitts joined me for a few games. That might be one of your first inadvertent calls, by the way. See how that matches up, Jeff?
I don't expect to keep up with you on it, Jack. I just was a little bit lucky.
You know what, in that last series against Cleburne, speaking of Brennan Metzger in left field, as Williams comes low to Blake Schmidt, Metzger is so amped up to catch balls in left field because 2 of his have been caught and brought back from over the fence this season.
The other thing, Jack, is I'm a little ticklish to giving up home runs. I understand the conditions quite well and when I'm going to give them up and when I have a chance to not give them up. 23 years of pitching can do that.
Yeah.
For you.
You got a little gun shy?
Yeah, well, I know what day to show and what day to maybe take it in.
2-0 pitch is high and away, ball 3, and all of a sudden Williams has fallen behind Blake Schmidt, 3 balls and no strikes. The other keys to this series is flipping lineups, and St. Paul trying to get that from Schmidt into Modal. There's a strike. The RedHawks certainly would love to see that from Garcia and back into Metzger. 3-1 as the 3-0 pitch is strike. 2-1, RedHawks leading. Here in the top of the second, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on a man, Ryan Williams, that in 80 innings pitched this year walked 6 batters.
That's an amazing number at any level. Amazing.
Full count coming. The pitch is a liner back towards the middle. It is knocked down by Garcia. The throw, the pick at prime at first. What a play by Carlos Garcia.
Great play all around. Holy cow. Great play all around. Diving flat out by Garcia. He gets to his knees, flips it sidearm. Corral Prime makes a backhand pick. Fantastic.
Prime might be the player of the month last month for a lot of the stuff he did with his bat. But I'll tell you, you nailed it, Jeff. He's got a tremendous club at first. And Ryan Williams comes back.
Quality is not a word we take lightly. From the materials we use down to the details, it's always been about building something the right way. That's how you know it's a true Minn Kota window.
Tucks it in tight. His short game is on point. Truly on point.
What a booming punt. He is on point.
I hope he has that leg insured.
Hey, Jim. Thanks again for being on the spot with my home and auto insurance.
Hey, Alex. On what?
My insurance coverage is on target.
On what?
On budget. You're saving me a bunch of money.
So your insurance is?
My insurance is on point. Thanks again.
That's great, Alex. Your insurance needs on your budget. On point.
Make sure to download the official FM RedHawks app on Android or iOS platforms. Sponsored by the Center for Special Surgery. Interact during games by posting pictures, playing trivia, and following social media posts. Earn loyalty points that can be redeemed for some great prizes just by using the app. the FM RedHawks app. Download it now.
Field, the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. Ryan Williams and his defense retire St. Paul in order in the top of the second. The bottom of the second will be Wilfredo Jimenez, Carlos Garcia, and Joe Becht. Big shout out to TJ Bennett. Just got a message here. Says, I'm locked in on every pitch, watching and listening to you guys. And I know that TJ, it just crushed him to have to depart, Jeff. But you and I talked about this the other day. When you've got an opportunity for that TJ did to coach at a D1 level, he had to take it. But I know that he misses this dearly.
Well, I'm sure he does. And those opportunities, they don't come around real often. You got to grab them. And I'll tell you what, we sure do miss his bat.
TJ, I'll say it again, on a night like tonight, how many times has he tormented left center, left field, center? Here's Jimenez against Lee. The pitch, he is in there for a strike. Something tells me this game is going to settle into a old classic fashion St. Paul Fargo-Moorhead battle here tonight.
One-run games.
One strike pitch comes a little bit down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jimenez. The RedHawks obtained Jimenez in a deal with Gary South Shore, the Railcats, when the RedHawks realized that one of their catchers, Daniel Comstock, as Jimenez sends one towards center, left center field, hit pretty well, and this ball is caught by Modal, the center fielder.
Well, that's a speed, making up for some mistakes, Jack. That wasn't a great read off the bat, not a great jump, and his speed just outran the ball, and he was able to recover.
Modal also, and I didn't see the exact position. I wasn't looking at where he was playing there. He tends to play probably a little bit more of a shallow center because of the speed that can make up for it.
He's a daring defender. He's not afraid to have to go back as he did there. That ball was hit into the left center field gap. The wind actually did aid it. I thought Wilfredo had beat him there for a second.
Got to bring up Carlos Garcia, and Garcia takes low for ball number 1. Yeah, any more twist on that ball from Jimenez, and that thing's at least 2 bags. And the way he can move, you never know. Corners are in against Garcia, and there's ball 2 from Lee. Chris Lee, 26 1/3 innings pitched. Again, reminder, in a AAA in Norfolk and everywhere he's been, used in relief. A 2-0 pitch is a swing and a miss, and George Samus, out of necessity and certainly having to massage a rotation. Landon Beck is going in game 2 tomorrow night. He too used primarily out of the bullpen for George. And Eddie Medina, of course, Eddie's got a no-hitter this year. He's going in game 3. Garcia fouls away, and it's 2-2.
George has made good adjustments to his rotation. He lost 3 of his better starting pitchers earlier in the year. He's made adjustments to move some of these relievers into the rotation. Very able-bodied.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Carlos Garcia. The pitch is on the outside corner. He struck him out.
Borderline high in the outside corner. Chris Lee got the call there.
Well, the paying umpires is what I refer to the fans. The paying umpires will let you know. Well, it's the second strikeout of the game for Chris Lee, and here's Joe Becht. Overcast today, but sunshine. It was a comfortable afternoon, a great fall-like day today in the Red River Valley. Beck takes a pitch just a bit outside, and that's ball 1. Well, what will the lefties do? Today, the 2 lefties out in the lineup have been productive for Fargo-Moorhead as Beck takes a ball away. Colwell's ground ball moved Metzger into scoring position. Ahart's base hit in the left field scored Metzger, and now here's Joe Becht up 2-0. There's a strike, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Beck very patient. That pitch looked to be up and in, but Lee got the call once again.
Well, there's another pitch that dangled on the outside corner. Good location there for Chris Lee, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Could the RedHawks get a man aboard? There's ball 3 down and away. And Beck, like we've seen Metzger do, ran the count full and has run the count full. Lee climbs back on the hill. Relatively quick worker, his battery mate Jeremy Martinez. The payoff pitch is up and in. Ooh, a called strike 3. And the second strikeout for Chris Lee here in the bottom of the second. The RedHawks are down in order. 1-2-3. We played 2 innings tonight from Newman. Score remains the RedHawks 2, the Saints 1. This is FM RedHawks baseball.
Good evening, RedHawks fans. There is nothing like baseball in September in Fargo, and it's actually a pretty nice evening here. Temperatures will fall back into the lower 60s here, I think, by the end of the game. It may turn a little bit more partly cloudy. There might be a chance of a thunderstorm even after midnight tonight. And tomorrow, a lot of the day may be cloudy, but I think by the time we get to game time tomorrow in the evening, I think the sun will come back out. Temperature will be about 72 with a wind out of the north at about 11 miles per hour. So if it looks kind of stinky during the day, do not be alarmed. Things will look better. Headed down to St. Paul for the weekend. Maybe should stay in Fargo. Looks like chance of some showers on Saturday, mid-60s. Partly cloudy Sunday, 70. And then chance of some showers if we have to go that far into Monday, and 67. You can get my forecast every night at 6 to 9 on KVRR. Have a great night at the Bulb.
When you shop at Family Fare, make sure to keep those receipts. Bring any Family Fare receipt of $25 or more to the RedHawks box office and get a pair of general admission tickets to any Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday game for free. Shop at Family Fare and win with the RedHawks.
Day on Friday, so it's Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, Monday night, all those last couple if necessary. It's the first 1 to 3 wins that advances to the championship series. Speaking of which, how about these two teams, Kansas City and St. Paul, or Kansas City and Sioux City, in Sioux City tonight, and that is scoreless in the top of the second inning. Dylan Baker going for Kansas City tonight. Carlos Sierra, RedHawks have seen him before, going for the X's. Ryan Williams entering his third inning of work, and he slowly spins a ball in there for a strike to Dan Model. Model, Lang, and Shoemaker here in the top of the third. The wind the pitch, spins another one, this one down and away.
He had a notion to call it. He flinched a little bit, decided not to call it. Breaking ball away right off the edge.
A ball and a strike, and Dan Model. Model flew out to right field. Tim Cole, as I look out, Cole doesn't appear to be very deep. The 1-1 pitch is a pitch away. 2 balls and 1 strike, and Tim is positioned there because a little bit of that breeze we talked about picking up is blowing a little bit towards that left field corner. It's going to be a detriment on balls hit to right. Williams, the 2-1 is drilled to right, and this is trouble down the right field line for possibly extra bases. Colwell cuts it off, and he's going to hold Mold to a leadoff single.
Yeah, as you said, Jack, Tim was in against the wind to right field, but that ball was hit on a slicing line towards the line. Tim did a nice job cutting it off and holding him to a single.
Does Ryan Williams now, with the second look at him by the Saints, Jeff, do he and Wilfredo Jimenez now mix it up a little bit here in the third, fourth, into the fifth inning?
Oh, I think you got to mix it up, and the other thing you got to do is try to pay attention to this runner, hold him tight. You got to try to produce a ground ball.
2-1 RedHawks lead, but the Saints with a man on first here, nobody out. Leadoff hit by Dan Model. Here's Michael Lang, who tore a ball inside the third baseline in the first, eventually scoring on Silviano's hit. These are the table setters. Jimenez sitting up high, and here's a push bunt down the first baseline. This is trouble, picked up by Prime. Throws to the second baseman, Garcia covering, and Michael Lang. That is why he's pesky. That is why he's dangerous. A perfectly executed push bunt.
Perfectly executed, Jack. I mean, it was a jailbreak out of the box. Lang flew down the line. We actually defended that pretty well. I don't know how much more we could have done, and, he just flew down the line and beat that.
Again, this game, this series has the makings of an all-out battle between two teams who mirror each other in similar ways, and both teams' offenses are very much capable. As Shoemaker slices the ball hit in the air to right field. I don't know if Model's going to be able to tag. Colwell makes a throw. He is going to try to tag, and he's out at third.
Oh, Timmy made a cannon throw right there, right on the bag. Beautifully done. Tim Colwell from right field making a big play.
How about that? Caught it as you would teach. Got your body behind that ball. Came forward, made the catch, the crow hop, and a laser to third.
Textbook, as we said the other day, if you got a little boy who loves baseball, come out and watch Tim Colwell, everything he does.
Circle that if you're scoring at home, by the way. That you don't know may come into play.
I was surprised. That was aggressive base running. I didn't think the risk was worthwhile.
Now, Lang did take second, and now they're going to peel and see if Michael Lang left early. Wouldn't this be something? And a safe call is made.
I don't know if anybody saw it, to tell you the truth, Jack.
You can't call
Everybody's looking at one another. I don't know who's making the call.
I like umpires, though, that take the initiative. Heath Jones went safe. Okay.
Someone's got to make it
safe.
ruling.
Well, Lang takes second, so the tying run is in scoring position, and Silviano, who's driven in the first run for St. Paul tonight, is at the plate and takes a ball that waves away. The RedHawks shift like this, it's Tomei-esque, if you will.
Yeah, full shift right here.
Yeah, full shift.
Full Teddy ball game, Lou Boudreau shift.
Yes. The only defender on the left side of the infield is Becht. Leaves the middle and shortstop open. And a ball blasted foul back on a play to our left.
Jack, who you think's getting that Lou Boudreau reference other than Wayne Renz? Maybe Wayne Renz. That might be it. Maybe there's a couple older fans in the crowd.
We got some people there. We got some hands up in the air down there. Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike on Silviano. Boy, if Williams, who again, I go back to the second inning. It was a 3-0 count on Blake Schmidt with the top of the order on deck. Came back, worked it full, and Garcia made a phenomenal play with Prime to get out number 3. Now, after back-to-back singles here in the top of the third inning, Silviano up with a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Here's a ground ball into the shift, played by Pena. Thank you very much. Between Tim Colwell and that shift, the RedHawks just prevented the Saints from scoring a run.
That's the type of stuff we have to come up with. Got to get dirty. Looked like we had about 8 guys there ready to defend that ball.
No run.
Tag us in a picture of you and your friends and family on Twitter at FM RedHawks and at FM Herbert Gerbert using hashtag FMHerbs. Your picture could make the video board later in the game tonight. Check out any of the Herbert and Gerbert's 4 Fargo-Moorhead locations. Herbert and Gerbert's exploring flavor since 1988. Leading off.
And secondly, a little aggressive on a fly ball to right field. Now, Dan Model can fly. We saw him track a ball down. But, you know, we're what, 2.5 innings into this game, and we've already seen some action tonight.
Yeah, George Samus, obviously, he went with the infield in. It was a little bit of a against the book type move with Jacobs at the plate. Did not work out for him. The aggressive base running, I think you're going to have to live with that at times because those guys get so many extra bases.
Brennan Metzger leads it off here and takes a strike. Well, in the first offering, Metzger drew a free pass in the first inning, came around to score an Ahart's chopped base hit into left field. Lee coming off back-to-back strikeouts in the bottom of the second. There's a pitch inside, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike.
Big inning for the Hawks here, Jack. We got the top of the lineup. We want to start to take control of this game. This is a perfect point in the lineup to try to extend this lead.
Schmidt in left, Model in center, Lang in right. Lang well off the line, I might add, in right field. The 1-1. Down and in, 2 balls and a strike. He can play that. You know, you got a lefty on the mound. You got Metzger at the plate. Problem is, if Lee throws something away and Metzger decides to barrel that thing up down the right field line, a kid like Metzger is going to be able to run for a while. And there would have been the pitch and the location anyway, but it's low for ball 3.
He actually prefers the ball in, Jack. You've seen him.
Right.
He does most of his damage to the pull side on fastballs in. He gets himself an account where he draws that pitch out of the pitcher. 3-1 here.
Lee into the line. The 3-1 pitch is blooped down the right field line. The wind's going to play this fair. It drops in for a base hit. Lang comes in to make the play, and that's a leadoff single for Brennan Metzger here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Lee actually made a good pitch, got in on him a little bit, Jack, and Brennan just fought it off and dropped a grenade in a good spot in short right field.
Great choice of words, too, because that thing just plopped. But again, the speed of Lang. Now, you might have right fielders in this league that aren't as fleet of foot where that ball ends up being 2 bags.
Off the bat, I said that's a double. Lang just erased any thoughts of that at all.
So can the Red Hawks find a way to now bring Metzger around and increase this lead? 2-1, bottom of 3. Newman Outdoor Field. The sun, as it sets, banking off that new track and field complex beyond center. The pitch is a ball down and away.
We may want to make them field a bunt, Jack. Let's see how they react.
Chris Coast coaching at 3rd. The cerebral Anthony Renz at first base. Robbie Lopez at bullpen coach. Jim Bennett, the manager. Cozy, the clubhouse guy, and Colwell being patient. You made such a great point on Tim Colwell. You know, Tim has 130 hits on the season. And he's not Metzger as far as plate.
No.
You know, they're actually almost even the antithesis of each other.
Yes, they are. That's why they're in perfect spots in the order.
2-0, the count on Tim Colwell. And the pitch. That's a ball down and away. Now, I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, Timmy pulls the trigger on that this year.
Timmy's an aggressive hitter. It's not his style to be super disciplined. He's doing it right here because he knows it's left on left, and he knows the team desperately needs him to get on base here.
2-1 Red Hawks lead. They've been out hit 4-3. St. Paul has committed an error. 3-0 pitch is right down the heart of home plate. And it's 3 balls and a strike. I'm curious if Chris Coast will put something on here.
Jack, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Chris putting Metzger in motion right here.
Well, Metzger leading off first. John Silviano. Will the left-hander, you know, reduce some of the running today? The payoff pitch is pulled foul, and nothing was on there. It's funny, the lineups that they have in the Red Hawks, you know, I look at Jacobs now with 77 runs batted in, 64 for Devin Ahart, 77 for Correll Prime, Pena 61. It's how much you roll the dice of putting guys in motion as opposed to sitting back and then letting these guys swing and drive in runs. My guess is Metzger might be moving. No, payoff pitch, he got it. Chris Lee came back down and in on Tim Colwell, and Chris Lee ranking him up. He's got 4 strikeouts tonight.
That's a strong fastball in the inner half, Jack. 91, 92 miles an hour. Good life, good second stage life. Got in on Timmy's hands. You don't see that very often where Tim swings and misses at a fastball in.
Well, Lee is such a solid left-hander, you know. You have to treat when you have base runners like gold nuggets, but the same token, how do you get him into home plate?
Well, that's the question.
There's Devin Ahart. Ahart swings and bloops the ball. This one might drop. It's in a dangerous spot. It's going to drop in, a base hit. The Red Hawks have dropped a couple of those grenades you talked about today. That one flops into shallow left center.
Sometimes better to be fortunate than good, Jack.
You know, Chris Lee has made some pretty good pitches. That one looked like it was down in the zone a little bit, and Ahart gets enough barrel on that thing to send it past a diving attempt by the shortstop, Chris Baker.
He's gotten in on a couple barrels here this inning, but it hasn't paid off for him. I'd like to see Chris get a hold of something here.
Well, it's Chris versus Chris. Big Chris Lee, the lefty for St. Paul, and Big Chris Jacobs, a right-handed hitter for the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. 2 runners on base for Fargo-Moorhead here in the 3rd. Lee from the set, the pitch. He tries to wrap one around the outside edge, and it's taken for a ball. Well, Jacobs, he'll tell you, he doesn't mind 95, 97, 98, 99. And when he gets locked in, sometimes doesn't mind that off-speed pitch either. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, and he had a cut.
That was on a big part of the plate, Jack. That was a pitch for him to hit, but it had some hair on it, 92, 94 miles an hour.
I don't know how many good ones he sees, Jeff. What do you think for it?
Well, I think he saw one there, but it just had a lot of velocity and a lot of life on it.
A runner at second is Brennan Metzger. Ahart at first. A good speed on the base pass for the RedHawks here in the third. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. A good fastball that tails down and away. And Chris was looking to jerk that to left, and that ball just tailed again.
Yeah, good velocity, and that time he came up with a better location. He finished that down and away with a lot of run. Now Chris has got to guess. Is he going to go away from me? Is he going to try to break my bat inside? Very difficult here.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Jacobs. The set by Lee and the pitch. And Jacobs dumps the ball to right field, shallow right field, and that ball's going to drop in. Ahart will jog into second base. Well, 3 grenades here in the bottom of the third inning.
How often do you see that? I mean, it's a combination of RedHawk hitters battling, trying to fight off high-velocity fastballs that are inside, on the inside part of the plate, and it's working out.
Got to bring a trip to the mound. Things like this could really not derail you as a pitcher, but it tests your confidence in your stuff, because Lee has thrown some good quality pitches. Yet here the RedHawks sit with the bases loaded and 1 out, and one of the most feared hitters in the league, Correll Prime, at the plate.
Jack, it could take you out of your game, because think about it. What has FM done so far? They've pounded ground balls into the ground to produce 2 runs, and now they're using soft balls in front of outfielders to create base runners.
5 hits in the game, you nailed it. What did Kerry Lightberg, speaking of guys with pretty good resumes, Kerry Lightberg probably just saying that to Chris Lee.
Just saying that you're making great pitches. You haven't been fortunate. Keep making pitches. Things will turn around for you.
Here's Correll Prime. And if Correll can find himself in a hitter's count here in the bottom of the third inning, could bode well for the hometown 9.
Big spot right here, Jack. Really big.
Sacks full of RedHawks as Lee comes set. And the pitch to Correll is low for a strike at the knees, however. Heath Jones calling balls and strikes tonight.
That's a big man at the plate. He hasn't called a few of those pitches.
Correll Prime at 6'5". Same height as former Saint Darryl Strawberry, by the way. Just matched on the other side of the plate. Trying to put a ball in the outfield somehow, and a swing and a miss, strike 2.
That's a live fastball, Jack. I saw it here in the monitor. I mean, that ball's getting out of his hand. You don't have a lot of time to decide. Correll's going to have to battle here. He's got a good 2-strike approach where he uses right field pretty well himself.
Look out of right, Michael Lang. Normal depth, I guess you'd say, in right field for St. Paul. So Lee ahead of Prime, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and he got a piece of it. He came back with a heat there, Jeff.
Yep, he did. He challenged him. Got a little bit more to plate than he wanted, but it was elevated. It's in a spot where Correll was going to have a tough time getting on top of it.
Stations will get an ID break here in a second. RedHawks leading 2-1, but right now, one of those early parts of the postseason series where you can make some noise. And with games 1 and 2 at Newman, trying to take advantage of it. 0-2 the count on Prime. The set by Lee, and the pitch is dumped to right field and spinning, I might add. Lee going to make a shallow catch in right field. Tagging from third is Metzger. Here's the throw. It sails over the top of the catcher, Martinez. A sac fly by Prime, and it's 3-1 Fargo-Moorhead.
Good decision by Chris Coast on that. Even though the ball wound up pretty shallow, Lang didn't get his feet in good position to make an accurate throw. It was strong, but it wasn't accurate, and we had to take the shot there. Metzger gets in underneath the throw.
To that point, how many shots are you going to have against a guy like Chris Lee? I like it.
Exactly. Got to be aggressive. And Chris has added that dimension since he's been in the third base box with RedHawks.
Runners at the corners on that throw home. Ahart also took third. At first base is Chris Jacobs. So Lee with 3 blue pins is sitting, and now a shallow sac fly to right, facing Pena. Pena takes a strike. Leo had pretty good wood in the first inning, but hit into an inning-ending fielder's choice. RedHawks leading 3-1. The set by Lee, and the pitch. Pena chops one foul down to third baseline. Let's pause now. 10-second station identification. 10 for ID. You're listening to Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks baseball.
It's legally required that we tell you who we are once per hour. So here we go. This is 740 The Fan. KNFL AM Fargo.
0-2 the count on Leopoldo Pena. More would be just enough, RedHawks fans. Pena swings and fouls it away. Big shout out to Mama Renz tuning in today. Big fan of a guy named Jeff Bittiger. She goes, I call him Coach.
Yeah, it goes back a long time. I heard rumors she might be making a trip to Fargo.
Just to get
possibly.
Maybe she got a ways to go to get more airtime than old man Renz.
Oh, that's going to be tough.
Summer.
That's going to be tough.
3-1, Fargo-Moorhead leading here in the bottom of the third inning. Runner at third is Devin Ahart. Chris Jacobs, man at first. Can Pena barrel something up and find some space in the outfield? The set by Lee in the pitch, and Pena instead grounds one sharply to second, played by Allen. On to first for out number 3, and the RedHawks are out here in the third, but a run on 3 hits, no errors. They leave 2. We've played 3 innings tonight from Newman. Game 1 of the American Association North Division playoffs. It's Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks 3, St. Paul 1. This is FM RedHawks baseball.
Glacial Peak Cryotherapy is where the RedHawks go to recover for a long season. Come chill with us. Cryofacial gives me a cool head on the mound. Come chill with us. Full body cryotherapy is a great way to recover after a long road trip. Come chill with us.
Normatec's the perfect thing to keep my legs fresh. Come chill with us.
Stop on by today to check out all of our amazing recovery services for yourself. Glacial Peak Cryotherapy. Come chill with us.
Armadillo Decking is a proud sponsor of the RedHawks, and each of our party decks features their composite decking. Available in 7 trend-inspired colors, Armadillo composite decking is low maintenance, splinter-free, and backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Find yours at Cedarson Lumber in Moorhead, Detroit Lakes, or Fergus Falls. Armadillo, designed for beauty, made for life.
This year, and now while you're here, got to try to make the most of it. The RedHawks have a real opportunity. They have a real opportunity. It is going to be tough. These Saints are so good at their house, but they're not going to stop applying pressure in tonight's game also.
No, the ball's bounced our way a little bit, Jack, so far. We've been a little bit fortunate with some of the bounces and some of the bloops, but you've got to give us credit for getting the ball in play. And then the other thing is we've come out, and even though we've highlighted how maybe we're not at our peak defensively, we've come out and we've played a really good defensive game to this point. That makes Williams even more efficient in his work and get deeper into the game.
The injury to Yoshan Medina, and by the way, if we have to say it, we can say it again. We said earlier, congratulations to Yoshan, named Defensive Player of the Year in the American Association as Jeremy Martinez takes the ball. Ryan Williams is yet to throw a strike, by the way, to Jeremy Martinez. But the injury to Yoshan Medina put the RedHawks in a little bit of a situation. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. What do you do when you lose the best defensive player in the league? And a guy that, by the way, can still get it done with his bat. And the RedHawks have been able, and the retirement of T.J. Bennett, I mean, that's that middle infield. The 1-1 pitch is knuckled foul. You lose that middle infield, one with a gold glove, so to speak, and the other good defensive guy, but really a dangerous weapon with a bat. That's tough to recover from.
Well, Jack, Yoshan Medina is the closest thing to Ozzie Smith fans in the Red River Valley will see, okay? But what you do is you ask the second best defender in the league to go play his position, and that's what the RedHawks have done.
Leo Pena at short, and you go out and you grab a guy named Carlos Garcia, who has been more than serviceable, and then bring back Joe Becht, who is a bolt of energy. 1-2 pitch is belted for a knock into right center field. Colwell will cut it off, and a leadoff hit for Jeremy Martinez.
Now, Martinez has just been a thorn in our side all year. I mean, no matter what we try to do, in, out, breaking ball, he's just found the barrel against us all year.
Jeremy Martinez coming in against the RedHawks, hitting .333 with 13 hits, 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and he's walked 9, now 10 times against the Hawks.
Been a thorn.
Big shout out to Isaac Olson, who not only had his second child born on the side of a road a few days ago, also found us a 9-volt battery today that we were searching for.
That's key. He's doing a little bit of everything.
There's a ball upstairs to Josh Allen. Critical is a strong word, Jeff, but how important is inning number 4 for Ryan Williams?
You always want to shut down an inning after your team goes out and gets a run. It'll only continue to ensure the momentum stays on your side. Shutdown innings are super important.
Falling behind Josh Allen, 2 balls and no strikes. Martinez not a major threat to steal. That's not to say that Ole Sheldon wouldn't put him in motion at some time. There's a ball down and away, and it's 3 balls and no strikes.
One thing, Ryan's going to have to come back here. Can't afford to have first and second, nobody out. So he certainly has the command to do it. He's going to have to challenge and hope we can get a ground ball.
Ryan Williams came back from a 3-0 deficit against Blake Schmidt in the second inning. And the pitch. There's a start. A strike in there that inning. Carlos Garcia, the RedHawks second baseman, made a spectacular play at second.
Think you got to come back with the same thing, Jack. Be on your toes on the left side. Let's make a play.
Josh Allen struck out looking in the first. And the pitch is hit foul out of play. And the count does go back for St. Paul.
Allen got off to a magnificent, a slower start this year, and then
Than he did
rallied
last
in the
year.
middle. Yeah, he
Remember
did.
last year? Three payoff pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Wind is pulling it back. Metzger is back at the wall in deep left center. The catch is made, and I think we just saw a little bit of the difference between Newman and CHS Field.
Not here, not tonight, boys. Not here and not tonight. You're going to have to wrap it around the foul pole.
It's part of the story, and CHS, a beautiful, by the way, $65 million complex
Fantastic
in Lower
facility.
Town. And you mentioned major league stadiums that are, have the luxury of having double decks, triple decks, where there's not really resistance. CHS Field's got a little sink to it where it plays down low, and there's a pitch a little bit up to Chesney Young. Not here at Newman. The winds start playing a factor, but then left center is deeper.
Left center's a graveyard, Jack. Always has been. Yankee Stadium configuration. I mean, most guys' best balls to left center are outs.
1-0 pitch, a foul tip into the middle of Wilfredo Jimenez, and a count to 1 ball and 1 strike. That's why you want to go out and sign like Tino Martinez's and guys that can maybe rip a ball down lines.
We try to get the left-handed hitters, and then you see our right-handers, they're 6'5" tall. So.
That's right. Here's the 1-1, and that's fouled back out of play.
Yeah, if you're a right-handed hitter, Jack, in this ballpark, and you're a middle-of-the-order guy and you want to hit for power, 2 things. You better have an awful lot of bat speed, size, strength, and it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt if you can go to right field a little bit on occasion, too.
Johnny Knott went to right field
Yeah,
a little bit every now and then.
Yep.
1-2 the count on Chesney Young. The pitch is a little duck snort into shallow right field. Colwell going to have to come in hard. He does. And Tim, well, he patrols that like it's his backyard growing up in Shoreview, Minnesota.
Jack, I'll tell you, these outfielders, I mean, what a pleasure to watch. I mean, at some point we're not going to have these 3 guys roaming the outfield. Metzger plays as good a left field at Newman outfield field as I've ever seen. You could add Tim Colwell to that mix now and right. He's playing this wind beautifully. He's positioning beautifully. He's made a great throw. And, Devin Ahart, he's not very athletic in center.
Yeah, not at all. Ahart can go gap to gap. That helps to have a guy, and they all can. Here's Chris Baker, lined out to left fielder Brennan Metzger to the wall, by the way, in the second inning as he takes a strike here from Ryan Williams. Clouds starting to come in here at the late night. There's temperatures today comfortable, but as the night goes around. I'm sure we touched into the low 70s today, but already down to 66. But these guys are already into it. We're in the top of the fourth inning. RedHawks leading 3-1. Man on for Saints, and a swing and a miss. Williams goes back to that breaking pitch and gets strike two.
Williams really utilizing a breaking ball well. I think he's onto something. He sees the right-handers are vulnerable to it. Looks like he's got very good feel to start it in the zone and finish it off the edge.
Well, St. Paul, as far as right-handed batters versus left, he goes right, right, left, right tonight. The pitch is a changeup low.
Right, Jack, right.
Right. A lot of right-handed action. The RedHawks feature 3 guys in tonight's lineup that will swing left-handed. 1 ball and 2 against the lefty Lee. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Baker.
More reason the size of the extended left field dimensions play in this series against St. Paul for us, Jack.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Baker. Baker with 3 round trippers on the year, 1 against the RedHawks, and there's another pitch that he tried to get Baker to chase, but just not convincing enough as he throws in the other batter's box. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. At least in this particular at bat, Williams has the luxury of wasting a couple of balls.
Nice job by Jimenez there to slide out there, bounce out there, and get in front of that ball. Jimenez a quick study on what pitches make these pitchers effective, and he's taken to these guys like he's been here for 50 games.
3-1, RedHawks leading. We're in the top of the fourth inning with 2 outs. Williams trying to get that out, number 3 against Baker. And watch out, ball hit sharply into that invisible netting here at Newman Outdoor Field. You a proponent of that at all major league parks down the lines, Jeff?
You got to have it, Jack. Some of these line drives are vicious. The RedHawks were ahead of the curve getting this netting out here. You can't even really see it. I can't even see it from here. It's been an outstanding addition, and for the fans that aren't watching the game like we are, it's a necessity.
2-2 pitch. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Hey, struck him out. Looked like he came with something else, a little bit more velo on that. And
fastball, turned up the fastball and painted the black, Jack. That's what he does.
Ryan Williams, 3rd strikeout tonight. The Saints, no runs, a hit. They leave a runner. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's still Fargo-Moorhead 3, St. Paul 1.
Hey fans, the RedHawks are back tomorrow night. It's game 2 of this North Division Championship Series with the St. Paul Saints. First pitch at 7:02. Reminder that game 3 of the series is scheduled for Saturday evening. That's a 7:05 start at CHS Field in St. Paul. For playoff tickets, head to the RedHawks box office or online at fmredhawks.com. And make sure you head on over to the RedHawks team store. Do it tonight for a special playoff series discount. Everything inside the store, 20% off. Thank you for your support of RedHawks baseball this season. During your lunch hour, find out what's happening in sports with the Jack Michaels Show. Weekdays from 12 to 1 p.m. on 740 The Fan and 107.3 FM. All right, we'll hang tight a little bit. We'll go as soon as they throw it on to second base, okay? We have to scoot up here a little bit so we can get you on the camera nice. Okay? Perfect. You know what you're going to say now? And then for the RedHawks catcher, number 2, Wilfredo Jimenez. Horizon this year? Yep. My daughter goes to St. Joe's in Moorhead, but she plays her volleyball over at Moorhead. She's a 7th grader. Okay, here we go. All right, fans, bottom of the 4th inning. Time for the RedHawks junior PA announcer, brought to you by M-State. Tonight we've got Jameson. He's 11 years old from Moorhead. All right, Jameson, nice and loud. Let's introduce that hitter.
Now batting for the RedHawks. Catcher, number 51, Wilfredo Jimenez.
Prime bloops the ball into right, shallow caught. Tagging from third is Metzger, an overthrow. Metzger scores easily. Ahart moves to third, and that's how the RedHawks lead at 3-1. So it hasn't been sexy, if you will, if you're looking for line drives and wall banging hits and home runs. The Redhawks have kind of paper cut St. Paul a little bit, and here's a big swing by Jimenez, and he fouls it away. Paper cuts do as much damage, by the way, as big gash.
Exactly. It's been collective. It's been mangy. It's been it's been grinding.
It's
but
been grinding.
3-1 on the board. That's all we care about.
Here is Chris Lee in his 4th inning of work. The 0-1 pitch, and Jimenez again shatters the ball foul the opposite way. Jimenez, he and Brian Olson, now the active catchers on this roster for Fargo-Moorhead. 0-2. Lee's been in a lot of 0-2 counts already tonight. The breaking pitch, and this one golfed towards right field, and it's going to blow into the mitt of John Silviano. Makes a backpedaling or sidewinding catch in shallow right.
Well, they've had enough work on those type balls so far, so they caught one.
Not an easy ball.
Not at all. That was a good play by Silviano.
Tell you this much, I think Silviano understands fully what the breeze is doing tonight. That ball is not going to go foul.
I think we're driving Lang crazy right now. I don't think he really knows where to position himself.
Yeah, in right field. Here's Carlos Garcia. Corners are in as Lee delivers. Carlos takes a strike. Garcia, you have to be wary of a bunt hit attempt. He tried one in St. Paul, and I might tell you, Silviano and Lee made one heck of a play at CHS Field when Garcia tried to bunt his way on. There's a pitch inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff, you were there when Garcia threw that bunt down in St. Paul. I thought, he's easily making first.
Yeah, they did a great job converting the out on that play. I thought it was a hit.
So a ball and a strike on Carlos Garcia. The wind and the pitch, and Garcia sends one up towards the top of the infield.
I don't know if they see it, Jack.
Allen does not see it, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Good call, Jeff. Josh Allen, it's the worst position to be in as a fielder, whether you're infield or outfield. When you lose a ball in the sky/lights, he didn't see it from the get-go.
Oh, and it's been unbelievable. Now it's starting to get a little eerie. How these balls are going up into the air and they're finding turf. So I'm not a type guy who says it's meant to be, but I'm starting to feel a little eerie with it.
And I'm not the guy, but I'm going to be the guy that brings up a not a good memory for the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks on a fly ball going back to 1996.
Well, that
I'm looking down. Yeah, thank you. For those that don't know, we'll explain. And the runner going back to hit and run, and Joey fouls the way. I already see some of the season ticket holders with their ears on down there the line. Fly ball, third base line, and I'd already mentioned Johnny Knott's name before. You lose the ball a little bit, a glove shifts, and you take one off the eye socket.
Jack, the worst thing about that for me was, I don't know if it was the 9th or 10th inning, I was about 170 pitches deep. And by the time they got done attending John, who broke his orbital bone on the play, by the way, and tried to tough it out, but he couldn't. But by the time that delay happened, I had stiffened up to a big degree, and then I gave up a few back-to-back hits, and the game was over.
The pitch count was unbelievable.
Yeah, the pitch count was high, yeah.
The pitch count was unbelievable.
I couldn't afford that delay at that time.
Set by Lee, and we'll see the throw to first again, and Carlos Garcia back in the bag. Chris Lee has got to feel snake-bitten here tonight. I mean, absolutely snake-bitten right now.
Chinked and Chunk doesn't do justice to it. It's been unbelievable
and
so
if you're the Redhawks, take advantage any opportunity you can. There's the snap throw, and this time they got him. Snap throw by Lee, and out at first is Garcia, 1-3 and a putout.
We got caught napping there, Jack. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I don't know if Carlos looked down. I would imagine he looked away for a split second and just at the wrong time.
Out he races the base runner. Officially goes down as a caught stealing. And 0-1 the count on Joe Beck. So he raced the base runner. And a strike in there to Beck. It's 0-2. Your margin for error, can be so slim.
Everything magnified here, Jack. The importance of every play magnified.
0-2 pitch breaks away. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Beck caught looking on a high pitch in the second inning. Metzger would be next.
This is a tough matchup for Joey Beck, facing a AAA left-hander with good stuff.
1-2 the count to Joey in the pitch. Oh, might have went around. He did. Well, he actually made contact. A foul tip held on by catcher Jeremy Martinez, and that is on number 3. So the RedHawks no runs and a hit. Nobody left on base. We played 4 tonight from Newman. Our score remains the RedHawks 3 and St. Paul 1. This is FM RedHawks baseball.
A family farm is, well, different. The cab of a tractor is the CEO's office. Board meetings are held on the bed of Grandpa's pickup. And a conference call is a holler across the yard. To hurry your chores, kids, there's homework to be done. A family farm is about family pride as much as profit. Farmers Union Insurance believes this way of life is worth protecting. Because this isn't just where we work, it's also our family's home. Farmers Union Insurance, simply different.
Visit them at 2701 9th Avenue Southwest in Fargo, or find them online at friendlysmilesfargo.com. Top of the 5th inning for St. Paul.
When I talk to young kids about pitching, I preach it, develop your strikeout pitch. Go for the strikeout with 2 strikes, because let's take the luck out of the game. As you're seeing, when you get the ball and play with 2 strikes, good things can happen for you.
So Williams here in the 5th, facing numbers 9, 1, and 2, and there's a strike at the knees to Blake Schmidt. Schmidt, Model, and Lang. 3 guys with good speed. Reinhender's 0-1 pitch is in there, a strike. Schmidt bluffing a bunt. When Ryan Williams has that big, slow breaking pitch coming in, and you've bluffed a bunt trying to make a decision, I mean, you're going to wait an eternity to try to see if you're going to put a ball on that. And there's the off-speed change down 1 and 2. He's mixing it up well.
A big breaking pitch is coming back into vogue, Jack. If you're seeing the curveball is coming back in, was the changeup, was the cutter, and now you're seeing a lot of pitchers have success with curveballs.
The pitch, well, there's one that spins away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan doesn't appear like he's lost command of any particular pitch to you, Jeff, tonight, or
I just feel like he's had excellent feel of his curveball. He's had success with it. He's utilizing it a little bit more than he normally does. Maybe a little less feel for that fastball away. He usually dots the corner and down and away with that fastball, but he's showing a little better feel and success with that curveball, and he's leaning on it a little bit.
Goes full now to Blake Schmidt. I'll need a strike here, payoff pitch, and it's hit sharp down to third into left field. Past the diving attempt of Joe Beck's well-struck ball. Ryan had to come with something out over the plate, and Blake Schmidt sat on it, pulled it to left. And for the St. Paul Saints, their 6th hit tonight. And once again, the Saints have a little traffic early in an inning.
Joe Beck, good effort, just couldn't quite get to it. The ball was hit very firmly. Right in the 5-6 hole.
Brings up Dan Model. And this is where it gets even a little bit more challenging for Ryan Williams. And it's a good start on Model, a strike at the knees. Again, Tim Colwell able to use the elements that are blowing out towards left field, towards that corner, playing a shallow right field. Ahart pretty much straight away in center, maybe a step to left center. The pitch is high.
Jack, these 2 hitters, Model and Lang, are very much dead fastball hitters. They look fastball on every pitch. The problem is you can't get behind them, because if you do, then you have to throw them fastballs because of their foot speed. You don't want them on the base. So You need to utilize your secondary pitches against them.
Well, Michael Lang the other night against the RedHawks, an airstrike 2, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Michael Lang probably saw breaking pitches in his nightmares that night.
Tamburino utilized the curveball beautifully against Lang.
Now let's see what Williams comes ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 5th inning, game 1 of the best of 5 American Association North Division playoffs. Hawks leading 3-1. And a ball fouled towards the Saints dugout.
Been very impressed with the pitch selection so far. Jimenez, Williams on the same page, trying to identify some weakness and trying to exploit it.
Williams will lean in here for the sign from Wilfredo Jimenez. As the right-hander ready in the pitch home. Swing and a foul tip held on by Wilfredo. Another strikeout for Ryan Williams, his 4th strikeout tonight.
Beautifully done, Jack. Going back to the curveball. Going to make these 2 guys show they can hit him. They look fastball every pitch, no matter what the situation.
Not out of the woods totally here, because here is Michael Lang. Lang tonight has doubled to left. Down the line, he's pulled off a perfect bunt hit down the first base line. And as we were just talking about, Michael probably going to see a steady diet of non-fastballs. Here's a broken bat flare that's going to dump into center field. A base hit, big turn by Blake Schmidt. Ahart throws behind him at second. Schmidt able to get back in the bag. And Michael Lang, how about that pickup for St. Paul? And that deal with Sioux City, his 3rd hit tonight.
Well, give him credit. He got a little bit of an elevated curveball. He hit it off the end, but he got just enough of it to get it over the infield.
So now the tying run is at first base for the St. Paul Saints. And the batter is Brady Shoemaker. This you wouldn't wish on sometimes your worst enemy. Brady Shoemaker can change a score in a hurry. Big challenge here for Ryan Williams. And a strike over the inside corner. He's been able to get Shoemaker. Shoey's popped to the catcher Jimenez and flied out to Tim Colwell in right field.
Ryan hit the glove right there. Wilfredo was set up inside. He hit the glove with a pitch off the inside corner.
0-1 the count on Shoemaker. Metzger maybe a step back in left field. Right-hander's 0-1 pitch. Down and in. It's dangerous, Jeff, because you've got Schmidt at second. You've got Lang at first. You can't give in to Brady Shoemaker, but if you lose him, you've got a left-handed batter in John Silviano who could make your night miserable too. No, this is one of those first big critical times in the game.
No question.
The pitch right down the heart of home plate. Strike 2, and I don't know if Shuey was looking for that. 1-2 the count.
He couldn't have been, Jack. That curveball was elevated a little bit. He must have been sitting dead red, and he didn't get it, and he froze on it.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brady Shoemaker. An all-star here in the American Association. The 1-2 pitch is pulled to third. Beck bobbles it for a second. And now we'll go to first. Throws in the dirt. Unable to make the pick as prime. It might not have mattered anyway. And Joey Beck, a pretty sure glove over at third. Once that ball kind of popped up on him, he was too late to get to third and then too late to get to first. And the inning continues. It'll be the first error of the game for the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. And now Ryan Williams' challenge is trying to get John Silviano out where a base hit could tie it up here in the top of the 5th.
Got to try to roll another ground ball, Jack. You got to shake that off and get another grounder right here.
Set by Williams, and the pitch is a high chopper towards first. Played by Prime, goes the short way to second. And there's a big out at second base for out number 2. Run does come across from third and Blake Schmidt. And the RedHawks now lead 3-2. Too high to flip a pair right there.
Yeah, there was no way. It was a nice play by Prime. He's so athletic over there. Not only the wingspan, the break off the bat, but the soft hands like a middle infielder.
So 3-6 in that put out. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. And you got to deal with Jeremy Martinez.
Don't want to give this lead back, Jack. This is a very big hitter here in this game.
Silviano driving in his 2nd run tonight with an RBI fielder's choice. And Martinez laces one to straightaway center, but that's where Devin Ahart lives. He'll make the catch, and that is out number 3. Well, the leadoff hit by Blake Schmidt, the single by Lang, the air at third. The fielder's choice drives a run in, but a line out to center, and St. Paul will settle for a run on 2 hits. There was 1 error and 2 runners left on base.
Fans, make sure you head on over to the RedHawks team store tonight. Take advantage of that special playoff series discount. Everything inside the store, 20% off. Thank you, as always, for your support of RedHawks baseball this summer. Paul Allen brings you the latest news with the Minnesota Vikings weekdays from 9 to noon on 740 The Fan, 107.3 FM.
I would definitely recommend Consolidated Communications for their products and services. They've truly taken the time to understand who we are as a business and recommend the best product and services based upon that knowledge of who we are.
Hooked up back where I sit during the radio show.
5 seconds. I will in a second.
Okay.
Back to you next 5 seconds.
160 watt. We've got your summer covered for fun.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, so reaching that, pushing past the midway point of tonight, and the St. Paul Saints able to get one that wasn't earned in the top of this 5th inning. We'll see if the RedHawks can respond. The Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks this year, fans, there has been one thing that has been a moniker of this team. They have responded too many times when down. If you can look at what the RedHawks have been doing when they've been down early, down middle, down late, their response to come back and get wins has been really a staple of this team. Now tonight, they were down 1, went up 3-1. St. Paul responds, they get a fortunate in the air by a RedHawk and come within a run. But Jeff, this RedHawks team throughout the season has built itself on resiliency and responding, and I would imagine now as Lee enters his middle innings, that the RedHawks are going to try to lock in a little bit more here and try to get that run back.
Incredibly resilient, and any inning that Brennan Metzger leads off in, I feel very confident that we're going to score.
So it'll be Metzger, Colwell, and Ahart here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chris Lee. First offering coming to Brennan Metzger is high for a ball. Is he just... Are people allergic to strikes on Brennan Metzger? Is it just this guy? I don't know what it is. The 1-0 pitch is a strike hit the knees.
You know, Jack, there's something to that, but usually it's an individual thing. Like there are some guys in there, the window they present in their stance.
Sure.
Sometimes you just have a hard time throwing strikes to them. It's strange.
But Metzger got a little bit of an open stance, that left foot pointed towards third, right-handed batter, and there's that pitch, that borderline inside pitch called a strike.
Very borderline there.
1-2 the count. You said something the other day. Brennan's not going to change.
No, he's not changing. He's not changing. That's why Chris Coase made the comment to me. He'd almost like to see him in a better league to where his zone would be rewarded more, believe it or not. You know, there's some truth to that.
Level.
Exactly. There's some truth to that.
1-2 the count. His numbers that for the 2019 season in this league, hit .314, hit 122 hits scored, 69 runs, 19 doubles, 9 triples, 8 homers. There's a pitch high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You put him in a league where a disciplined zone with a disciplined hitter
is rewarded.
Yep.
That doesn't always happen here. There's a little bit too much fluctuation.
2-2 the count on Metzger. The pitch from Lee is popped up. Left side of the infield. The wind will bring it back into shallow left. Chris Baker, the shortstop, has it for out number 1. 1 away, and it brings up Tim Colwell. And let's watch where the corners play here for St. Paul defensively with 1 out, nobody on, and Tim Colwell, the batter. Now that might even dictate a little bit what the game plan is for Tim, who is grounded to second and struck out. Look over at third, and Chesney Young off the line, but even with the bag and in. John Silviano in at first. Typically, you got a guy that's a left-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher if he were going to lay something down as he takes a pitch down and away. Oftentimes, Jeff, you pull that with you to first. Correct.
I wouldn't mind a drag bunt. You see Silviano very unsure. He was in early, then he slowly went back. It's a tough decision on Tim because he could pull a ball down the first base line for a triple.
The 1-0 pitch to Colwell is also away, and it's 2 balls and no strikes on Tim. Just get on, and the RedHawks will work from there. The RedHawks have had a runner thrown out at first tonight. The Saints have had a runner thrown out at third tonight. There's been a couple of plays towards the plate. Been some pretty good defense. Each team has made an error. So we've had a little bit of everything. 2-0. 3-2 RedHawks lead it in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kansas City has opened up their game with Sioux City. Now 7-1 T-Bones lead with a 7-run 3rd inning.
Wow. Explosive.
A 2-run home run from Omar Carrizales. He was instrumental late in the season for KC. Colwell takes a strike. Yeah, boy, Dylan Baker, 3 innings, 1 hit, or 1 run, 5 hits. Carlos Sierra touched for 7 earned runs on 9 hits and 3 innings of work. The 2-1. Colwell blasts a base hit to left field. How about that?
Nicely done inside out with the barrel.
Opposite field single for Tim Colwell.
Jack, don't worry about KC. They're on their 3rd different 9-man lineup. You're not going to know who anybody is.
You notice I had to kind of squint.
Not quite the continuity of the RedHawks.
I had to kind of squint in to make sure who was doing the damage.
Plus, I don't think we've played them since May.
Right.
So.
Now, Devin Ahart, what you wouldn't give for a guy, by the way, who's 2 for 2 today, for something that's hit with a little bit of mustard on it towards center and left center off the bat of Devin Ahart tonight. And Colwell is a threat to move. Lee, how many times will he throw over? Well, there's number 1.
No, it's always risky with the left-hander. You're not exactly sure with that crossover left-handed move. It's quite an advantage. You know, some guys will just sell out the first move. I mean, that's pretty gutsy now in a game like this, in a 1-run game, 5th inning.
3-2, RedHawks leading by 1 run with 1 on and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. Lee comes home. Ahart sends a chopper off the plate, and this ball is bobbled and missed by Allen. That might go down as another infield hit by Devin Ahart. That's a tough play. I don't think he makes the play if he comes over to Jeff.
I don't know who was going to cover first on there. I think it was a little uncertainty between the first baseman and second baseman on that. Let's look at it, Jeff.
We have the benefit of the replay. That's a high chopper. Even if Allen gets this, you're right. I don't know if that gets flipped to Silviano, flipped to Lee.
Very tough. Baltimore chop. We've gotten 3 of them tonight.
Is Earl Weaver, you know what else Baltimore is known for? The 3-run home run.
Yes, no question.
Grant Klebard's going to rule that an error. Do you agree with that?
I think that was a very tough scoring decision, very tough call on the scorer's part.
Yeah,
I really think it could go either way. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't really have a problem with it.
Gets paid the big bucks, you know. So it'll be an error ruled on, on the second baseman, Allen. Well, Jim Bennett said in the pregame, he said, and you heard him, he said, stats are one thing during a season, all that. It's just about winning baseball games.
Exactly.
Here's Chris Jacobs. Can Chris get one up in the elements here tonight at Newman Outdoor Field? And he takes a pitch down and in. Why does he always look like the beginning of a shuttle launch at home plate?
I just want Chris to be on time here. Get ready for his fastball. Forget everything else. Get ready, Chris. Get ready for this fastball right here.
Runner at second is Colwell. Devin Ahart, the man at first. Hawks leading by a run here in the 5th. The pitch is low, ball 2.
Ooh. Very close. Very close and a lot of life on that pitch, Jack.
Chris Lee has been
a very tough customer. Very difficult to square this guy up.
83 pitches deep into the game is Chris Lee here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Outfielder Blake Schmidt a step back in left field. Hawks trying to increase their lead. The 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss. You talked about life, good life.
We're not thinking about running here, Jack, but I would be with these two base runners. They look a little lax, although Allen is holding Colwell a little bit. Chesney Young, the third baseman, back a little bit. You know, you're always a little concerned about a double play in this spot.
I saw Chris Jacobs earlier this year in Milwaukee drive a ball against a breeze like this to right center. 2-1 the count on Jacobs. Here's the pitch, and that's outside, ball 3. At routine field with a crosswind and almost a wind blowing in, Jacobs, I saw just turn a breeze around, and even his ball, if there's enough on it, Jeff, can cut through a slight breeze tonight, a crosswind.
He can defeat any wind, any park. There's no park that can hold him when he squares the ball.
Lang straightaway and right. It leaves a pretty good alley in right center as the center fielder Moto playing Jacobs to pull. 3-1 pitch, and this ball is hit hard to right field, trying to turn that wind around. Lang going up. Lang able to make a diving catch, and the Redhawks going to try to take 2 bags. They are. Here comes Colwell. He is out at home.
Oh, Jack, fantastic baseball played there. Fantastic. Lang made a tremendous recovery overhead, got back to the warning track on a well-struck ball. Redhawks and Tim Colwell and Chris Coase take the calculated risk to try to steal a run from second base tag up like we did the other day. I think it was a wise decision and a well-executed relay guns them down at home plate.
Yeah, that ball came back into second base, and then the shortstop, Chris Baker, able to grab it from second and throw home. And you're right, Lang had to go down to catch that ball on the warning track in right field. Up.
Sixth inning for St. Paul, the second baseman, number 7, Josh Allen.
With your recent family fare receipt of $25 or more. Just bring it with you to the Redhawks ticket office and get 2 free general admission tickets to any Sunday, Monday.
5 seconds.
Redhawks and family fare. The FM Redhawks have got your summer covered for fun.
Well, we go to the top of the 6th inning here at Newman Outdoor Field. The Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks grasping and holding on to a 3-2 lead as Josh Allen leads things off for the Saints. Takes the ball and now fouls one away. This is what you expect in playoff baseball. Big plays, big decisions, calculated risks. We've seen Dan Model try to tag to third on a fly ball to right, be gunned out. Redhawks as Williams just misses away.
Jack, I'm blown away by, just that last baseball play. The amount of talent on display, effort. You think these guys on both clubs aren't giving their all here? What a play that was to finish the inning.
Breaking pitch, and Allen swings, and he's out in front of one, and that's probably fortunate for the Redhawks as the ball is fouled some 350 feet out of the park down the left field line.
Let me recall that play because you don't see a lot of plays like that, and just tremendous on everyone's part on both teams. Jacobs crushed that ball to right field. Lang was fooled, recovered, made a great relay. Timmy Colwell was flying. They made a fantastic relay to stop it.
Here's a ground ball back to the mound, and look at that. The David Copperfield on the hill. Ryan Williams able to stop it on a hop. Never retouched the surface. He got it on a hop, popped it right back into his mitt, and flipped it to first for the out. Yeah, Jeff and I have the ability in the replay up here, a monitor up here in the booth, and I've looked at that now a couple of times. And for Michael Lang to recover, to get to the ball, let alone catch that ball off the bat of Chris Jacobs, was impressive as Williams delivers a breaking pitch away to Chesney Young. And the throw didn't come into a standard cutoff to home on a guy at second trying to score on a hit, so to speak.
And it seemed like the infielder wasn't sure Tim was going to try to score initially.
Fly ball off the bat of Young to right field. Colwell, judging the elements, makes the catch, and there's out number 2.
Jack, let me just say, these two right fielders are putting on a show here tonight. Just amazing. Lang versus Colwell. I mean, it's incredible. They're both smaller guys, a little bit undersized, have been ignored by Major League Baseball, but they're both showing off a skill set that's very impressive.
Been impressive. The RedHawks, Ryan Williams with 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. And now Williams facing Chris Baker. I'd ask you what you think the difference is going to be in tonight's game. Right now it's setting up to be whose bullpen can be probably more effective late in the game as the pitch comes high. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, whereas Williams on pitch count, he's got to be quite a bit more efficient than Lee at this point. I would think St. Paul is going to have to go to the pen a little earlier.
Yeah, 83 pitches now for Ryan Williams. Right-hander's 1-0 pitch is a bit high, and it's 2-0 to Chris Baker.
It'll be interesting to see what manager Jim Bennett requires from Williams. He's been a 6-inning guy a lot of times this year, but in the playoffs, all the bets are off. We might try to squeeze a 7th inning out of him.
2-0 pitch is fouled away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, you get that ball for game 1, and I'm sure Chris Lee is in the same boat. You know, he's probably screaming into Kerry Leitenberg and George Samus here going, hey, I'm fine. I'm going as long as you want me.
Both of these guys have been impressive. As long as we keep playing D behind Ryan, it's going to give him a chance to continue on.
2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Oh, every now and then Ryan Williams reaches back for the old number 1.
That may have been his best fastball of the game, Jack. I know the board said 85. I'm like I've told you, I'm not a big fan of the angle up here.
That ball looked like it hit. And maybe it's the fact we've seen a lot of off-speed stuff that makes it look harder, but I agree with you. I think that thing had a little...
That had a little extra on it.
Well, does he come back with a spinner on 2-2? Let's say he does, and it just misses the front door, and the count runs full on Chris Baker. St. Paul 1 in the first, 1 in the 5th. RedHawks 2 in the first, 1 in the 3rd. Leading at 3-2. The Hawks have stranded 4 tonight. St. Paul has stranded 6. Fly ball hit in the air. That should be a can of corn. Tim Colwell, Johnny on the spot running in, says, I got it. He does. You're right. Right fielder's just making it look easy tonight. That one an easy fly ball for Colwell. 3 up and 3 down. Nice job, Ryan Williams and Wilfredo Jimenez. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Moving along in game 1 of a best of 5. Our score, Fargo-Moorhead 3, St. Paul 2. This is FM RedHawks Baseball.
High Point Networks helps companies buy and use technology. Your success is our success. From network infrastructure to unified communications, data centers to security, we have the experts to help. Our relationships are built on trust, and the foundation of our solutions is service, here to maximize your company's resources. High Point Networks, always connected.
So what do you do when you're not playing baseball?
Well, with all the money I've saved by riding MapBus, I'm living large. I've saved almost 10 grand a year. And with over 20 routes, I can get anywhere in the metro fast.
A RedHawks win is a win for you, thanks to Spicy Pie Pizza. The day after a RedHawk win, home or away, stop into your local Spicy Pie and receive 50% off any 18-inch pie. Just mention RedHawks win at Spicy Pie. Number 55, Pharrell Prime.
Scores a run for the RedHawks offense. Can they utilize the at least 9 outs they have at the plate to try to increase their lead? Well, Martinez sets up away, and the pitch is fouled away from Pharrell Prime, who was struck out, then blooped the ball to right field. It turned into a sacrifice fly back into a kind of a funky bottom of the 3rd inning, where the RedHawks combined hit balls maybe 270 feet that inning and ended up scoring a run. Lee sitting at 87 pitches, the pitch on the way, and that one comes across the chin of Pharrell Prime.
Some of those balls in the air, Jack, I don't know if you could have threw them any better from home
right,
plate.
right. I mean, it was a bloop to right, a bloop to left, a bloop to right, and a bloop to right that created the sacrifice fly. The 1-1. Prime pulls the ball hard to third, played clean by Chesney Young, and a nice toss across the diamond. There's one away.
Chesney Young, very smooth, very good feet, sure-handed, a nice arm strength across the diamond.
So one away, and here is Leo Pena. The more you look at this one, yeah, how deep are these guys going to go? Does Williams have another solid inning? He's going to be stepping into in the 7th. Numbers 9, 1, and 2, and Chris Lee in his 89 pitches, and this will be pitch number 90 coming up, has certainly been effective as he misses high and away. And it's odd, Jeff, because I think the start of this game, Lee maybe didn't have the command that we saw him now settle into.
No, but he certainly has had the stuff, Jack. It's been hard to square the baseball against him. That's just still a lively fastball. The ball's just getting out of his hand really well. All kinds of second stage life, and I mean, you can count the balls we've barreled up in the entire evening.
Pena swings through the 1-0 offering. 1 ball and 1 strike on Leo Pena. Here's the pitch. That one in the dirt.
I don't feel like he has quite the control of his curveball tonight, but he hasn't had to use it. He's thrown a high percentage of fastballs to both sides with sinking life, run, cut, and velocity, and we just haven't been able to get out in front of anything on the barrel.
Couple of balls and a strike on Pena. 0 for 2 tonight. As the lefties pitch, Pena sends it up in the air over the infield. Breeze will pull it back in a shallow center, left center, with a shortstop. Baker has it. And there's out number 2. Well, you know, it should be this way now, outside of obviously what's happening between Kansas City and Sioux City tonight. Hey, when you got a couple of your big guns going, you know, runs shouldn't be that easy to come by, Jeff.
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, it's probably going to come down to defensive miscues. That's why, you know, a 4th run here would be huge for us.
There's Wilfredo Jimenez. Can he hit himself into scoring position, or perhaps find a way to get a ball and drive it? Flag sticks blowing in, and Jimenez swings and launches a ball foul down the right field line. It goes back to, again, the play, and there's been a couple of plays of the game, but right now it is really resting on what Michael Lang did to end the bottom of the 5th inning. That is just right now huge for the St. Paul Saints, and somewhat devastating for the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks.
Yeah, we would have a 2-run lead, if not 3, if that ball gets over his head.
Think about that play. Jimenez takes a pitch high, 1 ball and 1 strike on Wilfredo Jimenez. Martinez setting up down and in, and the pitch is hit right back up the middle. It is knocked down by the second baseman, Allen, to his feet. The throw in time for the out. We're seeing some plays at second base tonight, too, and the RedHawks go down in order 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 6th. We played 6 tonight from Newman. Game 1 of the American Association North Division playoffs. It's Fargo-Moorhead 3.
Four-wheel drive Bobcat 3400 utility vehicle. The 3400 can carry 2 people and up to 1,250 pounds of cargo. This gas-powered vehicle packs the power you need, quick acceleration, and travel speed up to 40 miles per hour with the optional speed kit. The hard-working Bobcat utility vehicles. Your local Bobcat dealer has one for you right now. Start your day with Chris Hockey, Corey Colt, and meat sauce. It's the Power Trip Morning Show. Weekdays from 5:30 to 9 a.m. on 740 The Fan and 107.3 FM. Fans, check out the video board. Here is tonight's Herbert and Gerbert's fan-picked winner. Nice looking shot there. Thanks for being here. Game 1 of the playoffs. Thanks to everybody who submitted their photos. Be sure to follow both the RedHawks and Herbert and Gerbert's on Twitter. Now pitching for the RedHawks out of the Fargo Brewing bullpen, number 46, Brent Jones.
Well, threw it a little bit more in this start than I'd seen him in previous starts, and just did a great job for us. And now we turn it into our bullpen, which has been great all year. Brent Jones, very explosive, at times overpowering. Hopefully he's on his game.
We had mentioned earlier that it is going to come down, you would think, to the bullpen. Now, that said, Chris, there's nobody up for St. Paul, I don't believe. So, Chris Lee has been as effective here in the middle innings as he was to start it. And not that Ryan Williams wasn't, but maybe this change of pace right here. And Brent Jones will be facing Blake Schmidt, Dan Monel, and Michael Lang. What is the difference for St. Paul now? What do their batters have to adjust to, Jeff, with Jones as opposed to Williams?
Well, the only thing I don't like about it is after this hitter, you've got two good fastball hitters on deck. But Brent Jones' fastball is a little bit special, so we'll see how it plays out.
So here he is, Mr. Jones on the hill. There's that fastball, and he splits the plate in half on the first pitch to Blake Schmidt. Brent Jones, I love his fire. Calm demeanor when you just see him on the bus, in the clubhouse, wearing civilian clothes. But there's a fire that burns in this young man's belly as he delivers a pitch just a bit down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, it's a great Mike Clevenger comp, Jack, not only with the hair and the body, but right down to the stuff.
1 ball, 1 strike on Schmidt. Schmidt is grounded to second and singled in tonight's game, and there's a breaking pitch a little down and away.
That's a devastating knuckle curveball up to 84 miles an hour. When he has command of that, it's virtually unhittable. He just missed low with it.
Can 2 pitches do it in today's game of baseball, Jeff?
Yes, if they're plus enough. This guy's got enough plus stuff to get that done.
2-1 pitch is a called strike, and it's 2-2. I think he just came back with it. Unless that was a heater.
Fastball down the way.
Yeah, okay, it had some great location to it, certainly.
You might see it here, Jack, as the put-away pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and Blake Schmidt. 3-2 Hawks lead here in the 7th. The 2-2 just a bit away, and borderline on the outer half of the plate.
That just missed away, Jack. Really close pitch.
Brent wanted it. You could see he was walking off the mound, ready to do that circle, ready to get the ball back from his infielders. And I will have to come back and challenge Blake Schmidt. 3-2 the count. The payoff pitch is hit foul down the right field line. That gives us time to pause. 10 seconds for station identification, 10 for ID. You're listening to FM RedHawks Baseball.
740 The Fan is KNFL Fargo and 107.3 K297BW Fargo-Moorhead.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff man Blake Schmidt. Payoff pitch. Oh, and this came in and hit Schmidt either on the elbow pad or inside somewhere, and the leadoff man aboard on a hit batsman. That's the tying run now. And does this change the strategy for Ole Sheldon, a third base coach, and George Samus here in the top of the 7th inning with your tying run aboard, top of the order duo? I feel for Brent Jones. It was a loss Brent took here at Newman Outdoor Field recently, where he was 1 strike away from closing out a game. And on a 2-strike pitch, as Modal swings and fouls Brent like you would do, try to go inside and hit a batter, and after that, the inning kind of unraveled on him. And it was that hit batsman that really was the crux of the game.
Well, I'll tell you, Jack, I don't like to see Brent get too in and out east-west conscious. He's a north-south style pitcher, and I don't like to see, he doesn't have the command to pitch on the corners.
The pitch, that one drops.
Oh, that's an outstanding pitch. He was robbed on that pitch.
Boy,
that broke right through the strike zone. He beat the umpire on that pitch, plain and simple.
Sometimes the stuff is too good. You might even give up. You might give up on it as a hitter, you're saying, and maybe even an umpire.
He doesn't have to hit that. Take your time, watch it. I mean, that was a clear strike.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Modal. The pitch came right back inside corner. Strike 2 called. 1-2 the count on Dan Modal. And forget the whole manufacture the tying run theory I was starting to develop. Dan Modal's up there to swing.
I guess so. It shocked me a little bit.
1-2 the count. Schmidt the runner at first. RedHawks clinging to a 3-2 lead here in the 7th. Jones the set. The pitch is strike 3. He struck him out.
Oh, Jack, that was a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. That pitch actually had swing back action. Started off the plate, froze Modal, came back and got the outside corner. Beautifully executed.
Mr. Jones.
When you back that with that devastating breaking ball, Jack, that's a super tough combination.
Brings up Michael Lang. Yeah, that was dirty. And Dan Modal, if he could have just tipped his hat while he was walking back to the dugout, would have. A veteran player that just said, okay, wow, I'll give you that one.
Here's the new scariest guy in the lineup, Jack, to me, just the way he's playing his entire game right now.
Michael Lang is having a game of the night. Lang takes a little bit low for a ball. And I'll tell you another thing. I wouldn't put it past Michael Lang laying something down and trying to make something happen here in the 7th.
He's done just about everything else. Let's hope there's not a big hit in his repertoire tonight.
Doubled to left and scored in the 1st. Bunt single in the 3rd. Broken bat single to center in the 5th. 3 for 3 in tonight's game. Tying run on first. The pitch low and away. Ball 2 with Brady Shoemaker waiting on deck for St. Paul.
A little dangerous here in this situation, getting behind him when he can sit on number 1.
RedHawks bats have been held in check, and at least from scoring runs in the last few innings. And it's up to the defense and the pitching to carry the RedHawks through here right now, late in this game. 2-0 the count, and high, ball 3. And a ball now would put the tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run on base. So Brent Jones will need to come back on Michael Lang. And Jeff is right. Lang has been a major factor in this game tonight for St. Paul. And there's ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. So the tying run is in scoring position with the 3-hole hitter Brady Shoemaker stepping to home plate. So a hit batsman this inning, a strikeout, now a walk, a little bit of a buffet. And the silver lining here, and I'm going to certainly paint it for you, RedHawks fans. The silver lining here is as easily as Brent Jones maybe can hit a guy on a ball moving in or walk a guy on 4 pitches not hitting a spot, could come back and get 2 punch-outs to end an inning.
Oh, he easily can, Jack. I mean, you're going to, with his style, you're going to live with a walk. It's just not the time where it's super comfortable for you to walk a guy to force a tying run to scoring position.
Jim Bennett, good trip to the mound, out to have a couple of words with Brent Jones and his infield. We've seen what the RedHawks defense has been able to do tonight. And, these 2 teams have rolled some calculated dice in this game. Don't think for a second that if Shoemaker is a base hit, well, we'll see. I mean, with your John Silviano waiting on deck. But I'm saying at a base hit, you've got pretty decent speed at Blake Schmidt on. Wouldn't surprise me if we have another potential play at the plate by the time the top of the 7th is over. The pitch inside and low, and Jimenez able to get on the move. Fleet of foot, Wilfredo Jimenez, as he gets his glove on that ball. We'll see if the RedHawks have some action brewing.
I think I saw somebody throwing, Jack.
Back before we put in the new stands down there, Jeff, it was a lot easier to check.
Well, it's probably Filomeno for Silviano.
You would think. 1-0 the count. And the pitch. That's a strike. The other part of this is, and of course there's massive trust in Joe, but he hasn't fared well against St. Paul at times. But you can't start playing those numbers, Jeff. You want to maybe match up. There's one left-handed bat in this lineup for St. Paul, and he's on deck.
And he's the guy to use them against.
1-1 the count on Shoemaker. The look to second in the pitch. Breaking pitch and a dandy. That one he got the call on.
Yes, he did.
Now that one
could have been wide. Could have been.
Shuey kind of looked, and Brady's such a veteran. He doesn't, he's, how many pitches think Brady Shoemaker has seen like that?
I don't know. That had real late break. I don't know how many breaking balls quite like this he's seen, to tell you the truth.
1-2 the count on Shoemaker. And the pitch fouled away. That one heading towards the lights.
Well, that was 93 on the board, Jack, and obviously that breaking ball was in Brady's mind with that defensive swing he took against that fastball.
Is it still?
It has to be in his mind. That's why he's trying to hit the ball fastball to right field and still stay alive to hit the breaking ball left.
Metzger deep and left. Ahart straightaway in center. Colwell a step back and right. Jones, the pitch is line. Caught by Garcia, and they double off the runner at second, Schmidt. How about that? Right now, that becomes the play of the game.
We're fortunate. Soft line drive. Ball was left up a little bit. Brady hit it off the end of the bat. Luckily, right at Carlos, and we get out of the inning.
They say freeze on a line, but I have to think that Blake Schmidt maybe been hypnotized on that one. It's just he got himself in that one step off the bag, and by the time he looked back, there was no chance to get back to second.
The playoffs. Let's finish it. Hey, nice job for game one.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good.
Now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here at Newman Outdoor Field. The Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks holding on to a 3-2 lead. The RedHawks get a big double play as Chris Lee about to enter his 7th inning of work. See if you can save a Butterfinger, Jeff, by the, there we go. Hey, big hats off to Johnny Boltman, who supplied us today, the mechanic, the RedHawks official mechanic, as far as I'm concerned, supplying our candy today. I forgot to text Carl, unless we've used all the bags in 2019. Here's Carlos Garcia, and the pitch is a breaking pitch in there for a strike. 0-1 the count on Carlos Garcia. So thank you, Johnny. You just fed the entire Newman Outdoor Field. 0-1, and Garcia dumps the ball to right, but Lang right there makes the catch. This is it's baseball, but it is so about positioning tonight, especially to right field. And Jeff, you've been chronicling that all game long.
It's fall baseball in the upper Midwest. Cooler conditions, knock the ball down a little bit, and you always have to be cognizant of the wind.
A breeze from time to time starts shifting in a little bit more from the east than it does the southeast. And I know I'm doing directions. And here's a ball heading from the south to the north. And there's a base hit for Joe Beck.
Nice swing by Beck, inside out, didn't try to do too much. Found a barrel. We haven't found many barrels today. That was one of the better struck balls tonight.
Would you like a root beer? I brought two.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, lead off one-out single for Joe Beck. Yeah, RedHawks have it. In fact, the balls that they've really barreled tonight have gone for outs. You know, Pena's barreled a couple of balls, but on the ground at infield. Chris Jacobs more than barreled a ball that Lang took away to right. Top of the order, Brennan Metzger here. So Joe Beck, who can move, one of the quicker Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. So Lee going to be cognizant of him. Metzger wanted to pull the trigger, tried to hold up, but couldn't.
Appeal to first. They said he went around. I really didn't see that.
You know what looks appealing is the third base line.
Certainly does, but 92 or 3 tailing away from you makes it tough to get it down
tough
there.
to open up and pull that one. One strike on Brennan Metzger.
Coming in, no Jack.
The pitch, and that one a strike. 0-2.
Good breaking ball. He hasn't thrown too many of those, hasn't had to.
Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks leading 3-2 here tonight.
St. Paul staff understands how effective Lee's been, Jack. That's why you know, no hesitation sending him out for the 7th. They know that the contact against him hasn't been great tonight.
0-2 the count from the set. Lee takes a look at first, and Metzger stays alive. Big shout out to Derek Hansing tuning in tonight. He's got his dogs enjoying you and Bit, dying with every pitch, he said. You should be up here with Bit. We're both kind of hanging almost on every pitch. Right there with you, Dee. No balls and 2 strikes on Brennan Metzger. The RedHawks batting in the bottom of the 7th inning with 1 out, 1 on. How do you get back to round the bases here in the 7th inning? Yeah, Metzger sends a fly ball, hit fairly well, but again will die in that breeze as Michael Lang makes the catch and right. 2 outs, and here's Tim Colwell.
There's not a lot of money to right field, Jack. What is it, just more damp in right field for some reason? It's like a force field right now.
2 things. The infield ground proven to be harder, and
right field
damp.
Like a twilight zone.
Right. We got some kind of weird Bermuda.
Even when the flags don't appear to be blowing, right field is unpenetratable.
There's just no money out there. How can Tim Colwell find a way to find a line or find some open space? Again, let me remind you, Joe Beck can run. As Lee comes set, the pitch is a breaking pitch up and in. Let me throw this at you a bit. Again, we talked about base runners got to be treated like gold nuggets tonight. But at any time, do you try to put Beck in motion to second, where if he's thrown out, at least you got Colwell leading off the 8th inning?
I like the idea, Jack. Oh.
Snap throw to first, and another Red Hawk picked off the bag at first. Well, that entire theory, and who knows, maybe Joey was going on that produce, but Chris Lee has snapped 2.
NDCS Field game down there.
good tires. So where should you go to get the best name brand tires like Michelin, VF Goodrich, Fargo Tire? With one easy-to-get-to location on Main Avenue, if you drive a car, truck, or semi, Fargo Tire is still on Main Avenue in Fargo, keeping area families safe. After the sale, it's the service that counts. Boy, have we got tires.
In walks this 24-year-old brown-haired lady nurse, and she goes, "I'm going to be the one removing your catheter." Oh, God. Then she goes, "I have to tell you this." She goes, "I've never actually done this before." What? Well, go practice on a dead guy.
Don't miss Billing Bowl. Live Friday, September 27th, 8 p.m. Shooting Star Casino.
5.
Tickets on sale now. Call 800-313-SHOW, starcasino.com, or the Shooting Star box office.
Jammer Yagi now producing our game back in our flagship studios. Jack Michaels, Jeff Bittiger here at Newman Outdoor Field. Fans, you can grab your season tickets. You know, next year is the big 25th anniversary season. Now, the RedHawks are hoping for an extended, certainly 2019, but 2020, something special. So give our friend Isaac Olson a call at 235-6161, or go to fmredhawks.com. Lock in those season tickets for 2020. Here's John Silviano leading it off for the Saints, and he faces that little knuckle break that comes down and in for a ball. Silviano, Martinez, and Allen. A shift employed, and that's an understatement. Second baseman Carlos Garcia playing about 10 steps into right field. Shortstop Leo Pena is on the second base side of the bag. The pitch is high with a fastball. It's 2-0. We're talking about 6 outs, RedHawks fans. 6 outs before St. Paul can score a run to get the RedHawks game won. These are going to be 6 of the toughest outs of the 2019 season. There's a strike. How do you get 6 outs, Jeff?
This guy just keeps, Brent Jones just needs to be aggressive in his own, trust his stuff. It's clearly plus. Make these guys swing the bat if they're going to beat you.
At Breeze, I mentioned earlier, at times almost flowing straight in from right. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Oh, my.
He just threw that fastball by him, Jack. I wouldn't deviate. I'd go again. If he can elevate it, belt or above, Silviano won't be able to get the barrel to it. Now, if he leaves it down, Silviano can drop head on it and be dangerous.
So chest to neck?
Chest to letters is what we want. Riding through the top of the zone.
2-2 the count on Silviano. The sent by Jones. The pitch is hit sharply to the one infielder on the left side of the infield, Joey Becht, and Joey Beans makes the play. How about that?
Wow, that's actually a good at-bat by Silviano. And luckily, we had Joey B right in the right place, boy. There wasn't much margin for error. There was here, Jack. No one else around.
You've got a shift on bit. You got your 3 infielders, short, second, and first, all on the right side. One of them in right field, I might add.
Yes.
You've got one infielder on the left side of the infield.
And a bullet's hit at him.
And Silviano barrels a ball, and it's right to the guy that is on the left side.
You got to live good. You got to live good.
Here's Jeremy Martinez, and there's a strike. Man, is that
That's
dirty.
a vicious pitch. I got that as a 65 curveball, Jack, on a 20 to 80 scale.
So we're seeing fast, we're seeing knuckle curve, we're seeing...
No, really, you're seeing 2 pitches. Fastball, he'll have a variation on his fastball that he 2 seams for more movement, and then he'll have that knuckle curve.
1 strike in the batter, Martinez. There, he drops it a little bit down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. You can see why it was an attractive arm of Brent Jones.
No question about it. No question
near
about
each
it.
other.
He might find himself in Oakland A minor league camp next spring, as a matter of fact.
1 ball and 1 strike on Martinez, who's 1 for 2 tonight. The pitch, high and tight.
93 on the board, Jack. That might be 95.
Is it okay for a guy like Jones to be amped up a little bit? I mean, you're
yeah,
okay
he could
with
be
that,
an
right?
adrenaline guy because he's going to pitch at the top of the zone. I've gotten him as high as 97 with my gun this year, Jack.
2-1 to count, and Martinez. Hawks leading 3-2, top of the 8th inning. The pitch, Steve, right to as he buries one at the knees. 2-2 the count. The out pitch to Silviano may be different than the out pitch to Jeremy Martinez.
Yeah, I want to see a breaking ball here. This guy lays in the weeds for fastballs. He starts early and cheats. I've seen him hit too many out to left field. I want to see the breaking ball.
Wilfredo Jimenez, RedHawks catcher, hanging out that sign for Brent Jones. 2-2 on Martinez. The pitch. Fouled away.
Yep, he went fastball.
He came down hard.
Yep.
Now the old 921 arriving. Boy, was it a cargo plane?
Where are we, at Shea Stadium?
Just a second, Jeff. I'm going to get under the table.
Wow.
2-2, the count remains on Martinez. And the pitch. Fouled away again. Yeah, I was watching, guns all over this league. And guns are, you mentioned this before, due to their placement, whatever they are. And I've seen Jones touch 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, consistently 9.6, 9.7.
But I got him straight behind the plate because I was questioning it too, and I got him 95 to 97 in Gary that night.
Now, does he mix something here on 2-2? He's come hard at Jeremy Martinez. The pitch, he does, and he drops it down low for ball 3.
It's a good eye by Martinez spitting on that pitch. That ball started as a strike. Not going fishing. He's looking for that heater.
Martinez moved down to 2 3-run home runs against the RedHawks at CHS Field in their final regular season meeting. 3-2, RedHawks leading, 1 out for St. Paul in the 8th. The payoff pitch is drilled to first.
Oh, Carell Prime.
Oh, Carell Prime stretches out and pulls it in. What a play by Prime. Well, it helps to have octopus arms, number 1.
Tell me this guy can't be a wideout or wasn't in high school. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, with receivers, you talk about catch radius. Carell Prime fully extended on a line drive, not a soft liner. That was an absolute rocket to the right of Prime. And it brings up Josh Allen. There's the pitch. Head ball fouled away. If you are St. Paul tonight, you have done everything to have a lead, keep a lead, extend a lead.
We've got it to 4 outs, Jack, and I want to say, since we only have 2 of these 5 games at home, this is critical for us to hold on to this lead at this point.
1 strike on Allen, the pitch. He dropped one in, but a ball is called.
Oh, he's having a hard time with that breaking ball. He's having a hard time, Jack. He's not staying with it. He's giving up on it.
Big Heath Jones. I don't know who's bigger, Carell Prime or Heath Jones. It might be advantage Jones. Big, tall umpire. Hunched over. That's got to be a strike, and it is. 1-2. He backed up 2 in a row. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Allen. Allen's got dangerous barrel action. And Josh Allen, again, another guy you can't sleep on or make a mistake to. 1-2 pitch.
Yes, he did.
And a check swing and not going around. And here's where Bitt goes from broadcaster to pitcher. So we'll have to keep. We'll give Bitt the benefit of the.
Jack, thanks. That's one demerit. I've gone to the Jack Michaels broadcasting school.
You've been so good.
Listen, you've pulled out personality that no one knew existed and everything.
That's my boy.
Sorry, I'll take that demerit.
That's the most honest response I've ever heard from a broadcaster. 2-2 pitch and it drops low, ball 3. Those check swings, baby.
I'm just thrilled you called me a broadcaster.
Yeah, I did call you. You definitely got the stripes. 3-2 the count on Josh Allen. You know, Bitt, do you just challenge him now? Do you come back?
I have to, although this guy's a dangerous hitter. I'm holding my breath on this pitch.
3-2 the count. Top of the 8th inning. Hawks leading by a run. The payoff pitch is hit in the air to right field, and we all know what happens with that ball tonight. Tim Colwell coming on. There's out number 3.
Great job by Jones. Great job by our defense in that inning.
Needed a strike, got a strike, needed it out, got the out. And the Saints go down in order here at the top of the 8th inning. Battle between 2 teams who mirror each other in similar ways, and Both teams' offenses are very much capable as Shoemaker slices the ball hit in the air to right field. I don't know if Modell's going to be able to tag. Colwell makes a throw. He is going to try to tag, and he's out at third.
Oh, Timmy made a cannon throw right. Organizations are credit to the league.
So here we go in the bottom of the 8th inning. By the way, Kansas City put up 7 runs in the top of the 3rd to take a 7-1 lead on Sioux City. The X's have countered with 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and they pulled within a run, 7-6. How do you think they're doing at Mercy One Field tonight in Iowa?
Wow, that's quite a comeback.
Lee starts the bottom of the 8th inning, but there is action brewing in St. Paul's pen. He might be in here just to face Colwell and Devin Ahart, the first pitch of strike.
I'm sure he is, Jack. He's pitched a heck of a ball game.
Chris Lee, 105 pitches in tonight's game. The AAA left-hander's pitch, and it's fouled away. I don't know if they talk about stretching out relievers. He's not the first reliever ever to be turned to starter, but, his first start was his last start against the RedHawks at CHS
I guess
Field.
he pitched 5 innings in the game appearance before he started against us. But, Jack,
so stretch out a little bit.
Can I be the first to say I don't want to see him in Game 5 at CHS Field?
That's right. 0-2 pitch. Tim may have gone around, and they're not even going to appeal. Heath Jones assesses his right as a home plate umpire to call it as he saw it. And Tim, I'm sure right now, who, by the way, hasn't questioned anything really in his life. I mean, he'll fight for himself. But
Tim's as mild-mannered as they come. If he complains about a call, he's got a serious beef.
And Heath Jones must have saw something break, and there's out number 1. Well, here's Devin Ahart. Well, get that reliever. I've been brought you your own binoculars in this series. There's Devin Ahart. Ahart is 2 for 3. His last hit was a chopped ball on the right side of the diamond. There's that spinner in there for a strike.
The last time I tried binoculars, though, Jack, I think I was in AAA one year, and they put black shoe polish around the eyes.
I did not do that. Mike Devine is the righty warming as Ahart takes low.
So I'm a little spooked on binoculars now.
We mentioned Johnny Knott earlier. RedHawks also had a kid named Chad Akers on one of the first road trips of RedHawks baseball. It was a way trip. We were in a hotel room. I think it was Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The 1-1 pitch. Oh, and this one inside. And Johnny says, hey, I think Chad or Knott was in the room, and Akers says, check this out, Jack. And Knott was sleeping, down, snoring, tired. And Chad had put shaving cream on Johnny Knott's hotel room phone, went to the next room, I think it was my room, and then called Knott's room number. And he picked it up, and you can imagine what happened. 2-1 is pulled foul. Johnny picked up the phone, put it to his ear, of course. That's what you do. And he had a shaving cream from ear to chin. Here's your team that you put together.
Well, Chad Akers was quite a prankster. The stories they're not appropriate, and the timing isn't the time. We'll get to them maybe later, some other time.
2-2 pitch, and Lee tries to buckle one over the inside edge and almost got part of Ahart's ribs. It's 3-2, critical for the RedHawks to get someone on. This, no doubt, would be the last hitter that Lee faces, and he mocked him high, and there's a one-out walk. George Samus will come out, and knowing this RedHawks fan base, I would be a little bit shocked if they didn't also give Chris Lee a little round of applause.
They've always been great recognizing an opponent that's made a great effort. That's been a trademark of this organization.
George Samus getting this night, and nothing against Chris Lee. He expects it probably out of Chris now. But there's a term playing with house money. He just got him deep into this ball game tonight in game one.
He really did. I mean, they have a strong bullpen just like we do, but I don't know if anybody could have expected 7 1/3 of strong innings like that from Lee with very few starts under his belt this year.
Pitching change, break in the action. When we come back, the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks will have a runner at first. And Chris Jacobs, the batter, 1 out. Fletchock had a heavy sinker back in the day.
Justin Fletchock had a long, softer sinker. This is 95-96, not 85-86.
So
I love Justin Fletchock, though. What a pitcher! What a pitcher he was.
So Devin Ahart, the runner at first. Redhawks leading 3-2, and the difference between 3-2 and 4-2 is so large in a game. But that's what the Redhawks are trying to do here. The right-hander's pitch is a low strike called on Chris Jacobs.
Starting to get a little guesswork at the bottom of that zone now. I think that's a good pitch for Chris to lay off. I don't know what he can do with that other than hit it into the ground.
7-iron that thing to right or ground out to short. The look to first. Does Ahart move? No. And there's a pitch a little bit up in the zone on the knees. Higher than the last pitch, I should say. And it's a good strike.
But also on the outside corner. The game within the game right now, Jack, is if Chris can stay inside this sinker, and easier said than done at 95 miles an hour.
Well, he's behind 0-2. Jordan Samus, no problem going to grab this right-hander. Correll Prime waits on deck. The right-hander from the set. The pitch is low. And as far as anyone wondering, well, will they put Ahart in motion? You also do not want to take the bat out of Prime on deck, perhaps, or a guy that's dangerous. But you also, at the same token, Jeff, want to get a guy into scoring position. This is an insurance run out there for Fargo-Moorhead here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
You may take the risk more with 2 outs, Jack, rather than with 1.
1-2 the count on Jacobs. Kowalczyk's pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. So Kowalczyk comes in here and strikes out Jacobs in the 8th.
Yeah, Kowalczyk, he's got a lot on that fastball, sinking fastball. At times he'll cut it four-seam-wise. It kind of looks like it right there. You see Chris just giving Correll a little tutorial about movement. But when you have movements to both sides at that velocity, very tough. Need Corella to come up big here. It wouldn't shock me here to see Devin give this a shot.
Chris Lee wins 7 1/3 tonight for St. Paul. 8 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Kowalczyk trying to keep this just a 1-run deficit for St. Paul. Prime the batter, and the pitch to Corral is in there, right down the middle to strike. Taking all the way was Prime. Prime has coming off a line drive catch off the bat of Jeremy Martinez in the top of the 8th. Remember the 7th inning, it was a soft line drive to second that turned into a double play. That ended that inning. Here's the set by the right-hander and the pitch. Prime takes low. Double plays presented by Hornbachers and Smithfield Foods, where you can pick up your Eckrich smoked sausages and brats at any of the 8 Fargo-Moorhead locations of Hornbachers. 1 ball, 1 strike on Corral Prime. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the RedHawks leading 3-2. Devin Ahart at first. We'll keep one eye on Devin, as will Coach Kowalczyk, and he throws over. The Hawks have had 2 runners picked off first base in tonight's game. Now that was Chris Lee that did that on those snap throws from a lefty.
Despite that, Jack, I'd like to see Chris Coase take a chance here.
Ahart about a 2-step lead. He's certainly not near the cut out there, held on by John Silviano. You can just feel the tension in this crowd tonight, too. They're hanging on every pitch like many, and there's an off-speed pitch that's low. Good eye for Corral, didn't offer. 2-1.
I don't know, Jack, is it just me, but a 4th run would feel like almost scoring 5 runs. I mean, 4-2 sounds and feels so much better than 3-2.
A 4th run would seem like 9 runs at this juncture. TJ Bennett just texts me, says my resting heart rate is usually 55. I'm at 74. 2-1 pitch is low, ball 3 with Leo Pena waiting on deck. See, and he's not kidding, Jeff. There's a picture of the heart
Look
rate.
at that. He's got it documented.
3-1, good pitch to move on here or not?
I've been waiting for it the whole at bat, but you know, Corral's got big time extra base hit power too, so that also plays into the equation.
3 balls, 1 strike. Kowalczyk has got to come with a strike here. It moves the runner to scoring position. 3-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. Man, he's not giving in 1 iota to Corral Prime.
This stuff is so plus, Jack. I just feel a little better with Devin on second and hoping we can get a bloop or something that we've done a little bit of earlier on in this game.
Well, I can guarantee one thing tonight. Devin Ahart will be running on this pitch. 3-2 the count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Ahart will take off. Silviano still holding on with Ahart at first. The set by Kowalczyk. There goes Ahart. Payoff pitch is chopped towards short. Coming in to field it as Banker throws on the run to first. And that is all for Fargo-Moorhead here in the 8th. It comes down to this. The RedHawks need to get 3 outs before the Saints get a run, and the RedHawks will have taken game 1 in this series. Will Jeff Broussard be the man running in to try to save it? We'll tell you next. After 8 innings of play, it's Fargo-Moorhead 3, St. Paul 2. This is FM RedHawks Baseball.
The Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks thank you for coming to today's game. As you head home, please put your seatbelt on. Seatbelts save lives, and yours is important to us. Buckle up every trip, every time. 1 life lost on the road is 1 too many. Vision zero, 0 fatalities, 0 excuses.
Jones, and Kowalczyk from St. Paul, who are pure power guys. Broussard will do it with command. He'll do it with movement. He won't ever give in, and nothing is straight.
Opponents batting .235 against Broussard on the year. 47 strikeouts in 44 and 2/3 innings. 40 hits, 15 walks. 47 strikeouts, 15 walks. Key for the right-hander, obviously, if he can get ahead of these St. Paul Saints hitters early on. That's a pitch, a breaking pitch low. Chesney Young has struck out, flied to right twice. He's 0 for 3, and the way tonight's going, can Jeff Broussard induce 3 fly ball outs to right field?
He's allowed for him to go to center or left, too.
The set and the 1-0 pitch. That's way outside, all the way to the backstop, but it's 2-0.
The biggest thing, he's got to get in the strike zone, Jack, and he doesn't have a lot of margin for error and a lot of time.
Yeah, and there's one thing of watching Jeff and being a huge fan of Broussard. It's the one thing, you just hope he gets on those rails right away. What he's done in the bullpen can just translate to the mound and come in, but he cannot afford to fall too far behind these Saints hitters. The 2-0 pitch, that's a fastball high, and you don't have much time to get on board. It's 3-0. A walk here puts a tying run on base in the 9th inning. Now this is the playoffs, and even though Broussard's your guy, and the team has a ton of confidence in Jeff, here's the 3-0 pitch. That's a strike, and Jeff, maybe it takes one to get you going.
Well, he's going to have to challenge right on the big part of the plate here, Jack, and hope things work out.
I'd rather, from a Red Hawk standpoint, the Saints be more aggressive. They're showing a lot of great patience here by Chesney Young in the 9th inning, and I'd imagine that Chesney Young, unless this ball is to his liking right down the middle, may not take a swing at this either. And there's a strike up in the inside corner, and it's 3-2.
Very borderline, Jack. That pitch back up a little bit. That cutter backed up and in. Young didn't think it was a strike. Very borderline. We got the benefit of a call here.
Outfield straight away. The infield is back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff man for the Saints here in the 9th. Hawks leading by just 1 run. Payoff pitch from Broussard is hit foul down the right field line. It's easier when you have a big lead, isn't it, tonight?
Oh, such a big pitch coming up here.
Momentum
Momentum-wise, such a colossal pitch right here.
Large pitch. The importance of getting him at home, and Jeff mentioned this earlier, you've got 2 at Newman. And then it shifts all the way to St. Paul for the remainder of the series. Payoff pitch, driven foul again. Broussard going with the old number 1, whatever he can throw for a strike, but do you mix it now? Does he and Jimenez mix it now?
He's not mixing. His bread and butter is a cut fastball. You saw those last 2 pitches were cut fastballs. So even though he's going after a big part of the plate, the ball still has movement.
So we'll do it one more time against the right-handed batting Chesney Young. Broussard sets. The payoff pitch is high. He walked it. Tying run on base. And that ball thrown off the field of play, and they want a new ball. You're in the 9th inning. You're St. Paul. The tying run is on first. The 8-hole batter, Chris Baker, at the plate. And doesn't Chris Baker, isn't he asked now to lay a bunt down here in the 9th?
Yes, I believe he would be. A lot of times you say you don't play for the tie on the road. I believe with the state of St. Paul's bullpen compared to where we are right now, they'll play for the tie right now.
Red Hawks on for their 3rd pitcher tonight. Brent Jones went 2 innings. Baker, we're waiting for him to square. He does not. Instead takes a strike all the way. It's not to say, well, it's still not to say that he won't lay one down.
Well, I was still very surprised there.
Jeff Broussard, by the way, threw just a perfect pitch right down the middle.
I mean, we're to our last guy. We're to our main guy. They've got a couple arms still looming out there.
The set to the runner at first. Prime holding on at first. Broussard, the pitch home. Steve, right 2 as he buries it in the outer half. 0-2 on Baker. Blake Schmidt on deck. And then the top of the order in Dan Model.
Might see a slider right here to try to put away, Jack.
A put away. How about a 2-hopper to Leo Pena? 0-2 the count on Chris Baker, who is 0 for 3 tonight. A line out, a strikeout, and a flyout. Jeffrey comes set, and the pitch home. Fouled away. Keep in mind, these St. Paul Saints this season, hit well as a club. This team hit the 272, 933 hits, 171 doubles, 19 triples, 108 homers. Now, tonight, some of those big numbers, those home runs, because of the coolness of this night, a breeze that has been blowing from right to left tonight, anything in the air has ended up in a glove. The two-strike pitch in the dirt and through the legs of Jimenez, and on to second goes the tying run here in the 9th inning. Well, that takes away a potential double play ball there. And now the RedHawks basically need a strikeout from Jeff Broussard. A strikeout, as opposed to a ball put in play, prevents possibly that tying run from getting 90 feet away with less than 2 outs. A strikeout is what you need.
No question, you have to have it right here. You cannot allow a productive out.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Baker. The look to second by Broussard, and the pitch fouled away. And Chris Baker doing everything to keep putting a bat in the ball. You said yourself, too, the longer a batter stays in an at-bat, advantage goes to the hitter. So the challenge becomes even bigger for Jeff Broussard.
The location quality just hasn't been good enough to finish him. He's going to have to execute in a better location if he wants to get this strikeout right here.
Well, that pitch that he got a strike on Chesney Young, that was in, might be the number. There's a pitch again fouled away.
There it was, Jack. He tried a front door cutter that time. Jimenez set up inside. He tried to start it at the batter's hip and try to run it over the inside corner.
Whatever happens here, well, the RedHawks, anything that results in an out and something that doesn't advance a runner to third. And as you said, anything, you don't need a productive out here.
You're really going to need a strikeout in one of the next 2 hitters, either here or the next hitter. And obviously, you have to have outs.
Well, I tell you, Blake Schmidt with Chris Baker gets on. If Blake Schmidt is up, we might see some manufacturing. But right now, it's Broussard versus Baker. The 1-2 pitch. Just a bit outside, and it's 2-2. There's some action on that ball.
Some action on it. Wilfredo's jumping around a little bit for me. I wish he would calm it down just a touch. Baker's a high ball hitter. I want to see him get the ball down.
2-2 the count. 3-2 RedHawks clinging to a 1-run lead here in the top of the 9th inning. Tying run in scoring position for St. Paul with nobody out. The look to second by Broussard and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Oh, he came with the heat.
Beautiful cut fastball down and away. Executed perfectly. Finished Baker.
That's hurdle number 1. And here's Blake Schmidt. That strikeout does a number of things, Jeff. Obviously, that if you lose him there, this inning changes again in complexion. If he gets a productive out, this inning changes again.
Jeff's got ice water. He's been doing this all year. There's not a guy this club trusts more.
Blake Schmidt, who was grounded to second, singled, and was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Well, he's 1 for 2 tonight. Right-handed batter, strike one by Jeff Broussard. When Broussard is Jeff Broussard, and I saw it this year so many times as you did, Jeff, when he gets to be businesslike, it's impressive. And the last 2 pitches he has thrown has been businesslike. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball to short. Coming in as Pena makes the play. Shuffles, throws, out number 2. Hawks are 1 out away. Leo Pena keeping that glove down like the veteran he is. There's no way he was going to let that thing take a bounce up. And here's Dan Model, an all-star for the St. Paul Saints.
All-star to all-star. Broussard, the consummate pro.
So 2 outs here in the 9th inning for St. Paul. Game hanging in the balance. Tying run in scoring position. Broussard, the reliever of the year. Model, an all-star outfitter in this season. And a swing and a miss as Broussard Fires one past the bat of Modal. Now, Modal's not like Chesney Young. Dan's going to get his licks in there, Jeff, at the top of this order.
Well, you saw him right there. He was late on that fastball. He was sitting slider, guessing.
Modal is 1 for 4 in a game tonight. A silence here at Newman, anticipating. Can they get out number 3? The right-hander's pitch. Steve, right 2 called.
Now a strike away, Jake.
It has come down to this 3 balls and 2 strikes. The fans now standing on their feet at Newman. Hawks 1 out away from taking game 1 of the American Association North Division Series. Broussard has the sign from Jimenez. And the set. Now the right-hander, his 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! He struck him out, and the game is over. The RedHawks take game 1, 3-2.
Oh, what a ball game, Jack.
You were speaking to the strength of Broussard. I could hear the confidence in your voice, Jeff. It was in him from the start. It just took him a batter to get rolling.
He did, and I don't think anybody panicked. I don't think anybody on our side would. We've just seen this guy just be too good, too consistent all year long.
For the Saints in the 9th inning, no runs, no hits. They leave a runner. Broussard strikes out 2 of the 3 batters, yields a ground ball to short, and Fargo-Moorhead has taken game 1. If this is any indication of the series, folks, buckle up because it's going to be special.
And folks, get out here tomorrow night, support this team. This is going to be a heck of a series. I wouldn't doubt if it goes 5, but support this team here tomorrow night, taking on a great opponent, and it was a bunch of great baseball.
Excellent job, Jeff. Post-game show is coming up next, and a fist pound for Old Man Renz tonight. Final 3-2, RedHawks win it.
Were killed by a drunk driver in Mandan, North Dakota.
I got you, Benny.
That drunk driver was Taylor. He was sentenced
How much
to
time
prison.
here, Braid?
I killed 3 of my best friends.
You got 45 seconds.
45 seconds. 45
What I
seconds.
did. Make a decision today to always drive sober.
Buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the North Dakota Department of Transportation through Vision Zero.
Family Fair wants
30
to send you
seconds.
to a RedHawks game this summer. Spend $25 or more at Family Fair.
Heck of a
and your
game.
receipt will get
Heck
you
of a
2 free
game.
general
Wow.
admission tickets to any Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday RedHawks home game. That's right, 2 free RedHawks general admission tickets with your recent Family Fair receipt of $25 or more. Just bring it with you to the RedHawks ticket office and get 2 free.
Okay.
Any
5.
Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday home game from the FM RedHawks and Family Fair. The FM RedHawks have got your summer covered for fun.
Well, did you expect anything less between these 2 organizations, the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks and the St. Paul Saints? Jack Michaels back here on the postgame show from the Scott Miller Press Box here at Newman Outdoor Field. The RedHawks take game 1 by a final score of 3-2. We're now joined by RedHawks manager Jim Bennett. Benny, you've been around the game a long time, and this is a classic playoff-type game between these 2 very good teams. It comes right down to the wire in the 9th inning. Boy, I'll tell you what, Benny, this is going to be one heck of a series, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we know what we're facing here with St. Paul. We know we're facing a really good team, and I mean, our boys came through today. Metzger had a couple great leadoff at bats with a walk and a single. It gave us a chance to score some runs. what a play by Timmy Caldwell out there. I mean, that obviously I saw it up on the board, but play of the game, are you kidding me?
There's no question, Benny. And in right field was in play today. Michael Lang taking a hit away from Chris Jacobs on a ball to right that lends itself to almost a two-base tag by Tim Cole at the home. Right field was in play this evening, wasn't it, Benny?
No, absolutely. And some of our hardest hit balls were outs.
Yep.
You know, we had that line drive. That ball smoked by Jacobs. But yeah, what a game. Ryan Williams was outstanding, and then I got Jeff Broussard here to chat with you to finish that game for us.
And Brent Jones came in pitch too. And talk about, before we talk with Jeff, and Jeff Bittiger up here talking about, you guys have so much confidence in Jeff Broussard. He is the relief pitcher of the year, and despite a free pass in the ninth inning, Jeff Broussard just turned that hat into, he was just business-like, Benny, in that ninth inning. He's got an extra something special, doesn't he?
He's a pro. This guy, I mean, this might have been the first time I was a little nervous sitting down here all year long, but nothing bothers him. He's a professional. He knows what he needs to do. He got the job done.
Benny, game one in the books. Congratulations. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
RedHawks manager Jim Bennett joining us on a post-game report, and here he is, a right-hander Jeff Broussard, the relief pitcher of the year in the American Association. And tonight, Jeff Broussard getting it done again. And these are pros you're going up against, Jeff. You know that St. Paul's going to come out and put quality at-bats against you. And then you locked in. The big strikeout of Chris Baker. You got the ground ball out. And then Dan Model, another all-star, Jeff, toe-to-toe with him. Just talk a little bit about the adrenaline, what was flowing through you, Jeff, in the ninth inning.
Another night at the ballpark. It's not an outing for me if I'm not stressing everybody out, I guess.
It looked pretty good, though, too. The cutter obviously was in play. It looked like you had some great movement. That pitch was doing what you wanted it to do, Jeff.
Yeah, it's playoffs, so I was a little amped up at first. But I was able to settle down afterwards and sit back and do what I've been doing all season.
And talk to the fans on this one, too, Jeff. The regular season is one thing, but it is a different feeling, isn't it? It's palpable, isn't it, the postseason? Talk a little bit about just the different feel once the postseason gets underway.
Oh, these games, every single one of them count. We only get a 5-game series here, both series. So every single one, every single pitch, every out, every swing is important. So we got to make them all count.
And you made it count tonight in the ninth inning once again, like we've seen 28, 29 times throughout the course of the season. Relief pitcher of the year, and the RedHawks needed him tonight, and he came through. Jeff, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
RedHawks relief pitcher Jeff Broussard, who comes on and saves this one for Fargo-Moorhead. A classic RedHawks and Saints matchup tonight at Newman.
Call. Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Check out the Bell Bank Playground, located down the first baseline. All kids are welcome to play with adult supervision. Bell Bank, part of the community for over 40 years.
The beer that's as refreshing as refreshment gets. Mine and Kugel's Summer Shandy.